7 o'clock in St. Louis. You're listening to TMA 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. The program is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen, and we welcome you to participate in the discussion by texting into the Air Comfort Service text inbox 314-399-9646. Got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, and that is already active. And that's fun because on a beautiful Thursday morning here, Memorial Day weekend. I know Jackson's heading out to the lake after the show. It's great that people have already gathered and they're not out ball striking or working out, as about 80% of our audience usually is at 7 o'clock, Doug, according to the research that you conducted on the Gallup poll.
They're working out. They're doing burpees and such.
Burpees. Yeah, burpees. Usually burpees.
You ever do a burpee? That was kind of a grade school thing.
Yeah.
I guess they probably still do. It's pretty good for you, I guess. And that's what the audience is doing. It's a burpee festival.
80%.
Okay.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good day to have a good day. That's from Doug's prostate masseuse.
I haven't got a prostate masseuse.
It was a lovely text. Although I see Jackson changed the name on March 7th, and he has been laying in wait. And the next text was, good morning, gentlemen. Good day to have a good day. Mm-hmm. Martin, that's kind of inspiring. That's like what you'd watch on morning news. Good morning. You're watching Fox 2 in the morning.
Hello, St. Louis.
It's a good day to have a good day.
And then we'll laugh hysterically.
Like George Carlin's on stage.
Let's take a look at the arch right now. Still there. And, it's 58 degrees. A little chilly out the door. Grab a windbreaker if you've got one. And hopefully the kids are wrapping it up at school. Have yourself a beautiful day. And you know what? Be kind to one another.
Okay.
Check out your elderly neighbors.
And here's our weather person, Hal. Hal, it's a gorgeous day. Thanks for that. I know you got a lot to do with it. That's how they laugh.
Somebody had a beef, and I don't know if it was Olbermann or Dan Patrick. They said they hated...
Probably Olbermann.
They had a beef, period. When the anchor would say, thanks for that, or because it's like they're simply doing their job.
Right. It's hard not to do it. That'll do it. Back to you, Steve. That's what I did. Have you ever heard the laughter on the Good Morning America weekend shows on ABC?
No, are they known for that?
Oh, my God.
That. What do we got, Jackson? I guess you got audio you need to pull, apparently.
These anchors never stop laughing to the point they're almost ready to fall off their chairs, laughing at each other's comments.
And now to the Mideast.
It's like that the whole time. The whole show's like
That's Good Morning America. They have a lot of
on the
anchors.
weekends. It is, yeah.
Is it specific to ABC on the weekends?
I know. I don't think so. I think they all do it.
Oh, they all do it. Okay.
Well, but probably not to that extent. There they are again. Next story.
It's 7:01. We haven't talked about the Cardinals yet.
Oh.
That's from Dave and Mo Fallon.
That's a great point.
Okay.
Doug, they took it on the chin yesterday to the Tigers and lost the series to Detroit.
Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 to a team, and 2 of the games were bullpen games for the Tigers. But they've got some pitching. They shut a hot Cardinal team right down.
This show sucks in a lot of ways.
Right.
But one thing it's really done to me now, I'm not worried about the score. I'm more concerned about the attendance game that we play. Mm-hmm. And I'm more concerned about what did I...
Do you know the number? You were on the under. Doug was on the over. The over-under was set right at 30,000, a meat and potatoes line. Mm-hmm. And the final total was 28,990. Martin, you shipped.
What did I pick? 20, I said 27?
Jackson?
Hey, Jackie, welcome.
Hey, I thought Martin went over.
I went under, but I can't remember what the number was.
Tim said 30,000. I said 30,001.
Oh, okay.
And you said 29,000.
Oh, I was way off.
But by definition, you were off by 10 people.
Way off.
Yeah.
Outstanding pick.
Okay, all right. So
Nice
now I
pick.
feel better. I don't care about the series, Doug. I care about the attendance, the game.
Yeah, well, for the Cardinals, the attendance is probably more important than this particular series because they want the fans back in a big way. And the series, we lost 2 out of 3.
Series, thank you, Doug.
It doesn't
Marmol
really
has
matter.
lost us at least 5 to 6 games this year based on his personnel decisions and just dumb managing. They also need to drive in runners in scoring position. Doug, that's
No
from
kidding.
Evil Calvin.
So
That's pretty easy to say.
So one is the manager's fault,
Evil Calvin, call in.
and then the other is players not delivering.
They need to drive in. Yeah, if we just would score 10 more runs a game, they could win some of these.
Seriously, what are your plans this weekend, Jackie? That's from the Warson Woods Wacko.
What kind of text was that?
I don't know. I just saw
I mean,
it.
seriously.
And Doug, there's also a picture of a girl, a little bulky, on a cigarette boat.
Okay.
And
Is
he
that
says
Jackson's
that he
boat?
thinks that's Jackson, but I
that's
mean, it's
nice.
clearly a lady.
Are you going to the lake, or is that Tim being morning show silly?
The latter. No, lake, not on major holiday weekends. Not for me.
Oh, but you will go down there. What are the lunkers
Sure.
biting on?
Catfish, they like human food, right? They like a hot dog or something, don't they? I've heard that.
Yeah.
We'll take your catfish
I think most
call.
fish like hot dogs.
Yeah, I've heard that catfish are like something greasy.
I don't like catching catfish. They can sting you.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a real angler, but
Yeah. They got these whiskers that can get you.
no, but no lake for me this weekend.
Oh, gosh.
What are your real plans, Jackson? Since that's what they asked.
Seriously,
Warson
now,
Woods
what are
Wacko
you...
wants to
Warson
know.
Woods Wacko.
It's my girlfriend's birthday this week.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
25 bills.
24. And,
Wow. Look at that. This guy's going out with a 23-year-old.
24 now. Technically her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. And
She listening right now?
probably not right now.
So when you
Podcasting?
started dating,
She will.
22, maybe?
Yeah.
This is kind of like Bill Belichick's relationship.
Funny.
Very akin.
Jackson just went with it. Funny. He's already had enough with you, Doug, and it's 7:06.
So we're tickets to the Fox for this weekend. Going to the Fox.
Oh, look how classy you are.
Very classy.
Right from the lake to the Fox.
Yeah. That's standard.
It's gonna be fun.
What's you fit to see?
This show's called Anne Juliet. It's like a contemporary Romeo and Juliet kind of thing.
Nice.
It's gonna be fun.
It's a great choice.
She loves musicals, and so it's gonna be fun.
Y'all finna dine?
Yeah, for sure.
Where?
Thinking about making that Antoninos play again beforehand.
The GM texted in and wanted
Friend
us
of the
there,
show.
right?
Why don't we all meet you down there?
It'd be great.
Happy birthday.
Little Sally.
Yeah. Here's a bunch of people you've never met.
To clarify, somebody asked Fox too with your girlfriend? You're going to the Fox Theater.
But I'd be open to
Swing by the two Fox
well, just
on
to
the
see
way.
a sportscast live.
Warson Woods Wacko wants to know what you got her for her birthday.
Tickets to the Fox.
It's
Good
good.
go, Doug.
Okay. All right, you didn't want to go to the Cardinal game, I guess.
Saturday? Is it day game? Can probably be rained out. Gonna be rainy.
It's going to be a rainy weekend.
I think this rain on the weekend, and maybe I'm off, and maybe it's wishful thinking. I'm known for my positivity. These are more storms that come through, and so the percentages as we see on the weather app are more about the fact that we will have rain, but we're still in the mindset of when it's winter and spring that it rains all day. So I think you're going to get hit on Saturday night and Sunday morning, but the rest of the day won't be rain. That's why I've diven deep. I've dove deep.
Doven. I've
dove.
divvied up. I've dived deep.
I don't know what the right one is.
Dove deep sounds best.
I've dove deep.
That can't be
I
right.
think it's dived.
I've
I
dived
know it
deep.
doesn't sound right, but
No?
I think that's
Yeah.
the correct
I
one.
hate when it's correct, but it sounds wrong.
It feels like oatmeal in your mouth.
You don't like oatmeal?
Not like residing in my mouth.
What about porridge, man?
No, I don't think I've ever had. I've seen it on a menu before.
Oh, I get it. You're too good for porridge.
Yeah, I noticed that. Oliver Twist, huh?
It doesn't seem like something you'd ever order at a some sort of
You
restaurant.
never really even see it on the menu.
It seems like something.
Order
It
Antoninos.
seems like something
Part of
you'd
the secret menu.
be handed. Like, here's some porridge. Not, can I have some porridge?
It'd be punishment.
If you're
Like,
not going to Sato for dinner, you're making a mistake. Seriously. That's from Mr. Licks.
I know, I've heard nothing but great things, but not really into sushi that way. So
Not in a sushi that way. What does that mean? Because it's really kind of only.
when we went to Jamaica,
That's right.
it was an all-inclusive resort, so you could just have sushi. You could just try.
The Plowhawk and his soon-to-be wife, you're
Yeah.
missing the wedding, of course.
Right.
And my wife and I and Lisa Ann, friend of the show, bed sharer of Jackson Burkett, that's where we hit. That was our go-to. That's where
Right.
we felt like it was quality dining every night, night in, night out. And you rejected it.
No,
You said,
I
I'm
saw
too
it.
good for it. I want porridge.
Yeah, more porridge, please.
Porridge sounds like what you'd get in a holdover cell.
Like gruel.
You're
But
only going to be in jail here for a couple nights before we move you to the state pen. Here's your porridge. Now shut up.
But when you would eat the sushi at this place, you could just eat, like, it wouldn't cost you anything. If not, now I'm putting down money for sushi and I don't like it as much. Now I feel like, my dollar's gone to waste.
But it was all inclusive.
I know, that's why I'm saying I would eat it in Jamaica. Like where it's all included. Like here, try a couple pieces of sushi. Sure, yummy.
You have no downside.
Right, it's all upside. But if now I'm paying for it, it's
You're not
different.
seeking it out.
Right.
By the way, that play, I didn't know when you said and Juliet, it's the and symbol.
Yeah, ampersand.
Like Romeo and Juliet, but then they've left out Romeo. Interesting.
Okay.
And Juliet.
Oh, so
Starts
like
today,
this is a
1 o'clock
girl
today.
version?
I don't know about that. I think the premise is
I
like,
might be interested in
They
seeing
got
it.
rid of the yucky guys.
well, I think the premise is what if Juliet didn't, spoiler alert on Shakespeare's play from like, what, 1600s, if Juliet didn't also end her life with Romeo and
Oh, that
continued
happened.
on.
And that's Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio, am I right?
I don't
Spoiler
know.
alert.
I mean, it's,
It debuts today, 1 o'clock. The first run of And Juliet is 1 p.m. today. You want to go?
my
Get a
mom saw
preview?
it 2 days ago.
Okay, well, maybe it just has the most current shows. It runs through June 1st. A lengthy run for Anne,
Wow. It's a long
Juliet,
time there.
Anne.
It sounds terrible. That's from
does.
Mr. Siders.
Sounds like a soy boy event.
Okay.
I'm going to be going to a tractor pull and a lumberjack competition, but you can go to this Anne Juliet if you want.
Hey,
Yeah.
different strokes, different folks.
Some people like some things. Some
Sure.
people like
Right.
other things.
I like going to the Fox. It's a grand
Beautiful.
theater. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's a nice St. Louis evening. So
Isn't it supposed to be haunted?
that's kind of
Fox Theater's haunted?
I kind of hope so. That'd be kind of cool. Although I don't think
Maybe
I
I'm
could
getting
do
that wrong.
I couldn't do that thing where you sleep overnight in a place that might be haunted.
Oh, I think that'd be fun.
Is that the Limp?
It Lamp, but there's a bunch of other places that do it too. Maybe not in town.
Jackson, when people pick apart your personal life or your plans, let's
Yeah.
just call it hashtag this show. It's not fair.
Stop lying, Jackson. You're taking her to Hurricane Harbor to swim in the wave pool and count floating Snickers? That's from the Warson Woods Wacko. Is that
Floating
where you're actually
Snickers.
going? You like Hurricane Harbor?
I'll give a take, I guess. I would be okay if they told me for the rest of your live long life you can never go to another water park.
Wow, wow, wow. And once again, the elitism is on full display.
Not amusement park. I love the Screaming Eagle. I love the Boss. But if they said you can't go on another water slide, I think I'll be okay. I think I will be okay. Wave pool, I'm out.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
AI says the fabulous Fox Theater is widely reported to be haunted. Many people, including staff and visitors, have claimed to experience paranormal activity within the building. Some reports describe a red-haired woman in a light blue suit, a shadowy figure in the audience seats, and even shadow people in the basement tunnels.
Ooh.
Watch this.
Oh, I see what you did there with your eyes.
Scary. Ooh,
Okay.
ooh, Doug. Does that make you want to go to Hurricane Harbor instead now?
No, it seems like that also might be haunted.
Hurricane Harbor is
In a
haunted.
different way.
The ghosts of XXL wet T-shirts.
Oh, now we're going to weight shame people. That's what we're going to do here today.
You see that wave pool, and it's just when you go in there with a white T-shirt, it's gonna come out see-through, and it's not gonna achieve your desired effect. Just let it hang out.
Well, look for this at the Fox. Some individuals have reported interacting with spirits, including a spirit named Jeffrey, who wears a tuxedo and smokes. So look for him.
It seems like a good hang.
I stayed at the Lemp one night, went out and got hammered in Soulard, and then went rattling doors at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was good times. That's from the 217. So he got drunk, and then to scare the people who were staying there, he walked around and rattled the doors.
That's probably what's happening. It's a tourist trap. It's just some drunkard trying to find his way home.
It's listed. Whoever's on the closing shift at the desk, it's listed. 4 a.m. rattle doors, bang on pipes in basement.
Howl.
It's part of the. Jeffrey, is that you?
Toilets flushing randomly, the smell of cigar smoke, and a sudden chill in specific areas have also been mentioned at the Fox.
Scary.
Backstage elevator, the marquee room, and the projection room, often cited as hotspots for paranormal activity.
In the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, Jake Reynolds, who is TMA Walrus #1, I believe, says Fox is notoriously haunted.
Okay, pretty cool.
Okay.
Kind of bit Chevy Chase, didn't it? Kind of got him a little rattled.
Scary. Did he get rattled at the Fox?
Isn't
He
that
was
when,
on stage, seemed to be a little
Oh, is that right?
discombobulated.
wasn't that when they played the movie?
Yeah.
With, Christmas
Christmas
Vacation?
Vacation.
Yeah, that's cool though.
I would love to see some paranormal activity. Because then maybe you could believe it. Because until you see it, you can't believe it's a real thing.
I wouldn't mind seeing contained paranormal activity.
What is that?
An expert or two with me, an exit plan. I don't think I could
An
handle
exit plan. You're going to run away as soon
an
as you see it?
unbridled haunting. You seem playing with fire.
Well, there's really never been an incident of someone dying because of it, is there?
That you
Being
know
injured?
of. That you know of.
Well, we haven't had any missing person reports from someone who was mysteriously abducted at the Fox Theater.
No, not the Fox.
Well, have a great time, Jackson.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
Boy, if you can get through it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Email in your thoughts the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. That comes your way at the end of the program, approximately 10:50. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling is online at DesignAirService.com. Martin's a client. Doug's a client. I'm a client. Design Air is the longest-running sponsor on TMA going back to 2016. That's Seth Goldcamp and his team. Any HVAC issues you have, support the sponsors, especially the longest-running sponsor on TMA. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at DesignAirService.com. Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. We're heading down the stretch here. Only 6 emails of the day remaining in the month of May. And Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio has a 3-goal lead on the JV golf coach, but the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom picked up a win yesterday. She's got the kind of game to show up and make the groove to check out Big Tank Del Vecchio, so keep an eye on self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom, Doug.
All right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the great Buck Swope makes a run as well. So Big Tank has not captured this thing officially. A week from today, we will be at the Dotem, and the forecast for the Dotem. Oh, Doug.
What is it?
It's like the St. Gabriel School picnic back when it was on the proper date.
Okay.
It is glorious, glorious weather. We're talking about a high of 73 and sunny skies,
Great.
and then a high of 76 and sunny skies on Friday at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort, presented to you by Michelob Ultra in partnership with the St. Louis Hero Network in honor of Brian McKenna. Hello again, everybody.
Hello. Can't beat that. Because we're starting to get to the time of year where it could be 95, or we could have another tornado every other day. So it's a fabulous forecast for a fabulous event.
And you're playing on Friday with your son, right?
Yeah, I think he's here both days.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm playing both days. He's playing with Mark Hanna.
Evergreen Well Strategies.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can play with this lat strain or whatever, this oblique strain I have. It's getting better.
Massage?
No, well, maybe later when we're alone. But I'm not sure if I can play or not. We'll see. Hopefully. Testing that bad boy out for you now. Testing out this bad boy. I am a bad boy, and I'm testing things.
Is that KG giggling in the background there? That was kind of the media chuckle. Good Morning America, Saturday edition-esque.
It was simply a mic test.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
Make sure you guys check in before you cross the Merrimack River next week. That's from the Crystal City Clam Hammer.
Check in.
It's hard to get past the river.
No, you got to stop over and check in with the clam hammer.
You take some sort of paddle boat to
You
get across the
you
river?
go to him and you say, I'm here, everything okay? And he'll give you the okay to continue on to Oak Valley.
Oh.
That's what he means by check in.
Okay.
Kind of like the Colonel Kurtz. He's just in the back.
Right. Like, I don't know, you pick your favorite ambassador of a city, you check in with them.
Do you really?
Sure.
Okay. But you can get across to Merrimack.
Yeah. I think you'd have pretty safe passage.
Okay.
How about this? The recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves, who is sponsoring the long drive competition at the Dotem, that's courtesy of Pondoff's Anonymous Recovery Podcast, says the following. Hey, Tim, serious text. Keep it 100. $250 gift card to Olive and Oak for the longest drive each day. Can't wait to see those buns on those bombers, courtesy of Pondoff's Anonymous.
Nice.
How about that?
Really?
Wow and wow and
That's
wow.
the prize pool.
The buns part?
$250 for the longest drive winner. That's a lot of money.
Each day. Could have a feast.
So you hit a bomb and you have a lovely evening.
Yeah, you have a feast.
Yeah. Quality restaurant right there.
You better believe it. What do you get?
Tomahawk.
Wow, look at you. You're a
Big
meat and
cowboy.
potatoes guy.
If you're going to go, go all out. A little cowboy action.
Now, would
this
everyone have to hit from the same tees, or can seniors move up to the old
boy.
man tees?
I think the latter.
Recovering alcoholic, you'll have to text in. Doug has questions.
Got to be in the fairway, though.
It should be everyone from the same tee. That's the only way it'd be fair.
Doug, can my brother and I come over and rub your lat? Meet behind the Sappington Lounge. That's from Eric in the
Gosh.
Central West End. And you played Native American ball
I
with
did.
his father, so that might be a little awkward.
It is. It wasn't as awkward as the guy yesterday. He said he wanted to come in and hold my legs.
Just trying to help.
That made me uneasy.
Yes, I'm a gentleman. I prefer a man to rub me down.
Okay, Joe.
Producer Joe.
Any context on that for Joe? Or not really. None needed.
You're a gentleman who enjoys a dry rub once in a while?
Oh, come on.
Watch out for Steve in Ballpark Village. The guy's a bomber. That's from the 3 and 4. Yeah, I mean, his average drive now 290.
290, that might win it. That could win the thing.
And I believe he is playing one of the days. So, yeah, I think he's playing Friday, he said. So, I guess Friday is already going to Steve, and I'll try and see if I can hang on Thursday. I don't know.
290 could be a winner.
Stephen Wildwood, bomber.
I think you have to hit a little further. I don't know what the...
You got to be in the fairway, too, right?
Right, yeah.
That was my next question. What if you bombed it over 300, but it was a little off to the right into
I
the
don't
rough?
think it counts, but I mean,
Fairway
it's
only?
the Recovering Alcoholics contest.
Every long drive contest I've ever seen, it's like you have to be in the fairway. Now, first cut, second cut, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fine print.
There's a little collar, I don't know.
If Tim doesn't win, he can eat for free at Olive and Oak anyway. Thanks. That's the Recovering Alcoholics. So, Doug, that policy is in there. It's more of a fine print policy, but yeah, that's out there.
But now you're going to really let it rip, all power.
My favorite moment ever on a golf course is when I got to shoot one of those bazooka guns with the golf ball in it. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It goes forever.
I drove a par 4 with that damn thing.
And the sound on it's crazy.
You can just imagine how dangerous it is if you were to aim that at somebody. It would go right through a human, the golf ball.
Not to mention the impact mark it makes on the pitch mark it'll make on the green when it lands hot.
I guess. I don't know that it'd be any different than just a regular golf shot after it goes that far.
Centripetal force, is that what I'm thinking of?
Well, I don't know about that.
When something falls, it can't fall any faster. Maximum velocity.
Oh, it could be. It's just stunning how far it shoots the ball. Straight, too. I need one of those in my bag.
Well, bring it out to the Donum, especially since you're playing both days, and you can win the Olive and Oak gift certificate for $250. You're welcome to participate in the program. Call in. Callier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101. Michelob Ultra YouTube chat is at youtube.com/TMASTL. That's where 170 friends have gathered this morning to watch the program and talk it over like Hot Shot Hit Foul. Jake Reynolds, Brad, Paranormal Paul, Tiny PP, he's omnipresent, and Kitty Bates, the name of Jackson's cat, all in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat talking about the show and getting involved. Plus, you, of course, can talk it over by texting in 314-399-9646 Air Comfort Service text inbox. The program's called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. We are going to win the World Series. I can't hit that note. I worked on it, and I just never hit it in the studio.
Hang in there.
It's TMA 101 ESPN. Cardinals have lost a series. Doug doesn't care, though, and that's the thing that I think is of note here on our Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 program, that Doug doesn't care about a series loss.
Not so much. What I care about is they've lost 2 in a row, while the Cubs have won 2 in a row, and now the Redbirds are 3 back. That's the only thing that matters.
Well, you've heard in the song, Youngry Birds, that the Cardinals will be in first place by mid-July, so that shouldn't necessarily be a surprise, and you also shouldn't be concerned.
Duh.
See?
All right. Well, I would take that.
What do you think the odds are for the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals to win the World Series as of May 22nd, 2025?
What are the odds?
For example, the favorite, of course, is?
The Dodgers.
That's right, plus 250.
Plus 250.
Not getting a whole lot of value on that play. Dodgers are on pace to win 101 games. Yankees are plus 750. The Rockies are plus 70,000. They would be in last.
Okay.
If you're interested in lighting $100 on
So
fire.
the Cardinals would be about 30,000.
Not bad. Plus 15,000.
15. Oh.
Pirates are plus 35,000.
So it'd be a good play right now.
Okay.
Yeah, fire a bullet on if you'd like. The National League Central, the Cubs are minus 300 to win the division. Cardinals are in second at plus 400. Third, Brewers plus 900. Reds plus 1,500. Pirates are plus 20,000 to win the National League Central.
Cards are a game and a half back in the wild card race. Padres just a bit ahead. A little too early for the wild card standings, or should we talk about the trade deadline? Buyers, sellers.
Oh.
Is it too early, Tim, to post the wild card standing on the 2 Fox later today? Just a little early.
It gets people going.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the Rockies, who've been able to cobble together another 4-game losing streak.
I really enjoy the
8
verb cobble.
8-41.
Yeah, Rockies are on pace for about a 26-win season.
Could be the worst team of all time. Could be, at least in modern times.
You know, for fantasy baseball purposes, not that this is third-level thought, but anytime a team's heading into Coors Field, just load up on their squad, because the Rockies just... I don't even know who the gentleman was who they threw out there last night to face the Phillies. I've never heard of his name before.
You got to hear this quote from this article about this Rockies fan filed a complaint Monday in Denver District Court over an incident in 2023 where he was hit in the eye by a foul ball while sitting in a suite at Coors Field. His central claim is that the product in the field has been so poor that fans weren't paying attention to the game and got hit.
That's not going to work.
Oh, I kind of like the way where he's going there.
Doug, old Carson Palmquist got the start last night with his 11.88 ERA.
Yeah, going up against one of the better teams in baseball, he lasted 4 1/3, gave up 7 runs, walked 4.
You sound despondent.
That's all you got? It's a common draft of players. You'd get lucky every now and then, wouldn't you?
Where's Matt the Bat? He's a Rockies guy through and through. He enjoyed the Lance Lynn conversation yesterday,
did.
Matt.
Enjoyed it thoroughly.
He broke the back of that franchise when he left.
Wow, is that what happened? Do you cover, if you're a sports guy in that town, you're doing highlights tonight, do you minimize it? You just do like one play and then show the Dodgers winning? Do you just move on, or do you give it the typical coverage you normally do? You go live at the
you're still in
ballpark?
Nuggets morning. I think you're still in Nuggets morning. That's where I think you are.
I got a lot of pieces to pick up.
And maybe the Broncos had some kind of workout.
Like an OTA,
Yeah.
probably the
and
lead.
then like kind of the kicker is, and the Rockies took on the Phillies tonight. Tough night for old Carson Palmquist and his 11.88 ERA. They'll try and get the Phillies with a little day tilt tomorrow. Plenty of tickets available if you're downtown Denver. All right, now let's take a look at the 5-day.
But you can write the T's and say, coming up in sports, the Broncos bring in a free agent left tackle. And the Rockies, did they win tonight? Stay tuned.
See?
What's Dion up to? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Denver's
See,
definitely a
Boulder?
Broncos town.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Broncos own Denver.
I was thinking about this in Indianapolis last night. Is the lead Jim Irsay dying, or that insane win for the Pacers? Probably in the news block. You probably got to go Jim
The news
Irsay.
block? 65 years old.
Yeah.
Passed away.
I think he'd had struggled with addiction. I forgot that in December of 23, not that long ago, he was found unconscious. And he hadn't been seen a whole lot, they said, since then. But I'm sure that's the lead, even though the game was crazy for the Pacers.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would have been over by news time, but I was watching the end of that Papers.
I mean, it's about as good as it gets.
I had a feeling you were enjoying it.
I mean, you're down 14 with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left, and you come all the way back. That's
Now, I
unbelievable.
realize that's a game one, but is that mathematically worse than the Blues up 2 with 2 minutes left?
I don't think so, because you're right there to advance.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If you're just taking out the game one versus game 7
in terms of the collapse factor.
Statistically,
that's a good question.
I would still think the Blues mathematically they have those odds of winning graphs.
Yeah.
I would still think the Blues were probably higher to win than the Knicks were last night.
Yeah. Goal. Well, you could equate a goal maybe to like 10 points in basketball, even though I know it's obviously not apples and apples because it can happen in a second. And 10 points can't, although they scored 9 points in like 8 seconds last night. So who knows? But
yeah, I think we can actually break down the math on what it would be if an NHL team averages 4 goals, and an NBA team averages 100 points.
Yeah.
Then we can say each goal is worth 25 points.
Yeah.
So that was the equivalent of the Jets scoring 50 points in 2 minutes. So does that make you feel better?
I'm not feeling any better.
The next win probability peaked at 99.8% when they were up 14 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it said, before last night, teams that trailed by 9 or more in the final minute of the fourth quarter in the playoffs were 0 and 1,414. Now they're 1 and 1,414.
Yep. Insane.
Never been done before.
But all of the factors, the way the ball went in,
Yes.
bouncing straight up in the air,
Hitting the ceiling,
straight
basically.
back down,
Yeah.
and then Halliburton thinking it was a game-winning shot and doing the choke sign, and then they have to review it.
Well, he dribbled out 20 feet. He was down low, and he dribbled out to go shoot that. And the Pacers have been coming from behind all playoffs long. This is going to be a great series.
That kind of got me going.
I mean, you have Reggie Miller in the building calling a Knicks-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals, and that's the game you got. Like, how could you ask for more?
Should we listen to Coach Harlan on the call? Or you want me to wait till 7-3?
I don't care.
This, Tim,
Doesn't sound like the Stiefel dossier is necessarily in ink. It's a flowing, living, breathing document, just like our Constitution, Doug.
hashtag this league.
2-point game. Indiana with it. Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal a 3 for the win. And he got it!
They got to make sure he got all the way behind the line.
That's right.
He certainly got it off in plenty of time.
Oh, I think that's a 2.
That is a 2. You're right.
I think that's going to be a 2.
That only ties the game. That ties the game.
And he tried to give your choke sign to the Knicks. And the game's not over.
What was that noise?
Was it a barn door closing?
2 dribbles and a chain net swishing.
Oh, chain net. Nice. That's from Jesus Shuttlesworth, and he got game.
Yep. Good chain net
90.
working there.
What do you think that was? 98?
Oh, I don't know the years.
I feel like
97?
Oh, that's good. We're going to win.
We're all over it.
98. 98.
Of course it was. I like when people question me. Good luck. Speaking of which, Martin, no cash call needed is thank God Brat Summer struck out the final hitter he faced yesterday. Otherwise, you probably would have gotten a text from somebody asking for a wire.
Took them all the 3 innings to get that second K.
I guess the logic for that Derek Canty guy was that Brat Summer would pitch more than 1 inning. And he did do that when he would be the opener for the Tigers last year. And the gambling market was pricing him as if he was only going to pitch 1 inning. And so that was the reasoning behind it. I saw the I guess, showing the work on the thought process. And he did. He wound up pitching 3 innings, and he certainly could have pitched longer. The Cardinals weren't doing anything against him or anybody else for that matter. And unfortunately, I think they will look back on this one and go, yeah, probably should have won it. I mean, they've lost 3 of 4, but yet it doesn't feel like they really should have lost 3 of 4. Follow me?
Yeah. Because those other games were right there for the win.
Yeah.
Yesterday, not so much. Yesterday kind of looked like last year's team where they struck out a lot and had no thunder at all. But it happens. You're going to see all kinds of games over a long season. Let's not get down on this squad.
Ali Marmol talked about the loss and how facing a bullpen start, also known as Brat Summer, can challenge your team.
Definitely not the result we wanted, but I would say, we matched up well against that group. I felt like that's a good lineup, good roster overall, and it was good to size up against them and see kind of where we're at. I think our guys handled themselves extremely well. Yesterday's game was a hell of a game. I enjoyed the back and forth. Today was a tough one. You just got to dig deep and give everything you got, knowing you got an off day and you get to rest and kind of reset. And I felt like both teams were in a little bit of that mode. And it's always, anytime it's a bullpen day and you're going to match up as much as they did, it's going to be tough on the offense. So they out-executed us, and were able to take that third game. But I felt like we played good baseball over the last 3 days. We really did.
There's the bat. Base hit. I wonder, as Major League Baseball and the way pitchers are used continues to evolve, I wonder if bullpen games will become more and more common to the point where maybe they all become bullpen games, where you just have 12 or 13 pitchers and you want 2 or 3 innings out of every one of them every couple of days.
Yeah. I guess routine, that would really mess up routine. Hence why.
Yeah. But if that's the best way to win, the hell with the guy's routine.
Yeah.
And maybe it would cut down on some of the arm injuries, too, if guys didn't throw 100 pitches in a game.
Yeah, well, Ali Marmol said facing a bullpen game is tough because of the matchups.
Mm-hmm. I can see where it would be.
Yeah.
Where you see a different pitcher every time you bat.
If they expanded the, like if it was like somehow like a 28-man or 29-man, yeah, I think 100%. But I think just you don't have enough arms to do a bullpen game, if not once a week or less.
Well, some of these guys on the Tigers, some of them only threw 11 pitches. 2 of them threw 11 pitches. And you can do that every other day.
Brat Summer only threw 37.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust me, the Tam Avenue Capital Partners were hoping for more because we also bet 3 strikeouts and we also bet 4 strikeouts.
I don't know.
Yeah. But the win, Martin, the win on the over of 1.5, we were now playing with profit and just trying to make more for you. Probably might want to have some liquidity though, maybe Monday after this weekend.
Be ready.
Yeah, just be ready for the cash call.
There's another one coming.
I just want people to be ready in case you got to move it around.
So work some more overtime.
If you could.
Okay.
So, Doug, we get the call, and he's over at Olive and Oak eating a free steak.
That's correct.
So we get the call.
I earned it with the long drive. I don't like Ali using size up around Tim. Thanks. That's from Salty Bald Dude from Caseyville. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Salty Bald Dad from Caseyville.
Okay. He said we don't size up well against him. Is that what he said? Or he did?
He said they matched up well against them.
He must have said size because this guy didn't like him using that sort of terminology around Tim.
Fair.
How we size up. So it was a measuring stick. That's something the media would typically bring up, and a lot of time a coach, manager would poo-poo that. Mm-hmm. He clearly took this as, hey, they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball, record-wise. How did we match up? I'm glad that he admitted that, because we look at it, on the outside, we always look at those types of matchups and say, measuring stick. And then the team, oh, no, it's not a measuring stick. We don't look at it that way. Go eat some hot dogs. That's implied. They don't say that,
they
but
start browbeating
it's
the media.
implied. But I'm glad he said it.
Hey, guys, fun fact. Spencer Torkelson is my soon-to-be cousin-in-law. That's from Fulsey.
That's cool. Yeah, good ball player.
All right.
Can you get him on the show for us? Thanks, Fulsey.
Soon-to-be cousin-in-law. Okay. Well, that's nice. Might get some tickets that way.
Off topic, I have Prima Nocta on Kai after he says I do. Call me Longshanks, you piggy.
Oh.
That's from our sponsor, the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves. That's the wedding Jackson will be at instead of the Plowhawks, where Doug is performing the ceremony.
And he would like to be called Longshanks now?
Correct.
Yeah.
You piggy?
That's probably tough. I didn't know he was coming out Cape Way in the June. That'd be nice to see him. But,
So he's Prima Nocta, not with his wife, but with Kai himself?
Yeah. It seems a touch archaic,
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that's still going on?
Like, did they do it as a tribute? Like, that was like a tribute?
I don't know how much of a tribute that is.
Or it was like, do it or I cut your head off kind of thing?
Have you not had a chance to watch Braveheart?
No, I have, yeah. I just didn't know, like, what the blanket use of that kind of strategy was.
Okay.
Your thoughts on Prima Nocta? 314-3 3999646. You can also discuss it in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. I mean, today would be a perfect day to go out, Doug, and compress that ball. See if you can get the proper shaft lean, and then celebrate with a Michelob Ultra, 95 calories, 2.6 grams. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. On a day like today, you're going to enjoy it, brother. And it's also the sponsor of the Dotem, and the Dotem returns a week from today with a glorious forecast. The Dotem presented to you by Michelob Ultra, just like the YouTube chat. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. The program is called TMA. It airs on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose yesterday at the hands of the Tigers. Off day today for the Redbirds as the Diamondbacks slither into town tomorrow. That's a 7:15 first pitch. It's going to be on Apple TV. Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Cardinals. Zach Gallen on the mound for the Diamondbacks. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Doug, is this Johnny Gill? My.
I just don't know at this point.
That's correct. Happy 59th birthday to Johnny Gill.
And he's represented by Bill DeWitt III's wife. Am I correct on that?
Really?
Ira?
Yeah.
She is in the music industry.
And that's why he would be singing the national anthem at the World Series here in St. Louis. Am I correct on that?
I just don't know at this point.
But then they had Rascal Flatts sing the national anthem, and the Cardinals have not won a World Series game since. So producer Joe, in the moment, told us that would happen. So Chicago had the Billy Goat. St. Louis has Rascal Flatts.
Okay. So when the Cardinals get into a playoff series and things start to go poorly, they begin to worry about Rascal Flatts?
Correct.
That's how it works?
Take a listen to this. Well, this isn't My. And this is from the Boomerang soundtrack, is it not?
Yes.
And Johnny Gill replaced Bobby Brown in New Edition. Am I right on that?
At this point, I just don't know.
Do you care? I know you don't know, but do you care?
Not that much.
Okay.
Well, I'll have to explain this to my kids later on this evening.
Set them down. Speak nicely. Reassure them they'll be okay.
Confirm that Johnny Gill replaced Bobby Brown in the Air Comfort Service text inbox 314-399-9646 or in the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/TMASTL. One of the things that people oftentimes will say, and it doesn't matter what market you're on, you hear another team's broadcast and you go, oh, I don't like that broadcast. I think part of that is because subconsciously you're used to your team's broadcast, and so anything that sounds different doesn't sound right. Now, with that said, I was listening to clips of the Tigers broadcast when I would go back and watch the YouTube highlight package before coming in here, and they would play some Chip Carey and some Tigers broadcast. And the Tigers broadcaster, anybody? Nurse.
Jason Benetti.
That's correct.
Left the White Sox. Got out of there in time.
Yes, he did. Good time to sell the stock. And he was not happy with Victor Scott yesterday?
Yeah, so if you remember Victor Scott, when he tried laying down the bunt, it ended up hitting in the hand. The Cardinals challenged, and he just got a dead ball strike. Here's the call from Mr. Benetti.
Okay.
With an opener in front of him, but it's not like he's not used to this. Scott goes tumbling down. That's a fair baseball, and his cadaver is out. Wow. Dylan Dingler tags him as he is a chalk outline from Hollywood on the ground, and there's one away.
His cadaver goes down.
Yeah.
I missed the play. Did he act like he was dead?
Well, he was hit in the hand.
Well, yeah, but you usually don't act like you're dead when you get hit in the hand.
He rolled down to the ground, but he wasn't writhing in pain or knocked unconscious. He got right back up pretty quickly, and it was ruled that he was not out, that it did in fact hit him in the hand.
Okay.
But he offered at it, so strike.
Man, that hurts, though, to get hit 95 miles an hour in the hand.
Oh
gosh.
The next pitch, he grounded out to second.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing he didn't break a bone or something.
Yeah.
Do you like the term cadaver?
It's kind of funny, From the away broadcaster, it's funny.
Sure.
Your own guy would never say that about your guy, but you'd say it about someone on the other team.
And if you're the home version, what do you say? Oh, my goodness, is he okay?
He's throwing at him.
Chip was given a lot of love to, I guess the crew chief's name was Bill Miller, for the way he handled the challenge.
Okay.
Chip was giving them love.
All right. Well, I'm glad Victor wasn't hurt.
Right, that's the main thing.
Friend of the show.
But isn't coming on. Is Robert Thomas coming on?
You know what? He's on my list to follow up on, and today is towards the end of the week.
I
believe our last correspondence was maybe towards the end of the week.
Yeah, I want to fire the challenge at him.
Okay.
See what's doing. I mean, I'm a soft cap right now.
7:53. It's summertime, out of season. Wait about a half hour or so.
I did it like at 5:43
Well, yeah.
in season.
Yeah, he got the TMA bump. He kept scoring goals right after you would text him early in the morning.
Right. It's good vibes.
Yeah, let's follow up on that.
Well, they're not happy with me, Doug.
Oh, no.
Nobody cares about Tim's random trivia knowledge about non-sports related topics. Stick to baseball. Doug, that's from the 314.
Okay, we'll stick to baseball. Guardians whooped the Twins 5-1.
Go to hell.
Mets got the better of the Red Sox.
Let's run through that. No, you have to
5-1.
weave in.
Well, let's
Yankees
take a look at the
clipped
junior circuit.
Rangers 5-3.
Tigers got bit.
He's going to have to grow up.
Blue Jays in a laugher over the Padres 14-0. Phillies took the measure of the Rockies, but who doesn't? 9-5 your final there.
Big gaping holes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Uncle Rich?
Yeah.
Who
Angels
did?
doubled up the Athletics. I always hated that one. They doubled them up 10-5.
Go over in the junior circuit.
Yeah.
Uncle Rich tweeting about Sirianni's contract extension the other day. Used it as a chance to promote his book sales. He said now that Coach Sirianni's got a new deal, he can buy more books. And he used the picture of Coach Sirianni reading. There's a snake down there?
That's correct. Did he tag Dan Orlovsky in the...
I don't think he did. But because of Tim, I'm now on a Johnny Gill page for booking events.
Nice.
Minimum fee range between $40,000 and $75,000.
Really? Would you like to have Johnny Gill come by the barn off and perform? He can do My, and then, of course, the encore would be Rub You the Right Way.
It would have to be a charity event that he would have to accept a non-payment.
That is a fun game.
$75,000 for him.
A fun game to play is like guessing how much someone costs to book.
Submit your request here.
We'll
Company
get him to the
name.
totem.
You can do the opening shot.
Does a professional hockey player really want to play golf with a radio host and his pale servant? That's from Gooner Reloaded.
How'd I get dragged into
You
it?
got nicked.
How'd I get dragged
Aren't you just
into
on the
Nobody
bag?
is safe in here.
What?
Aren't you on the bag?
What, like,
Tim?
like looping?
Yes.
No, I don't caddy.
His
Oh.
pale servant.
Oh. Anti-porridge, anti-caddy.
Yeah, I caught that.
It's not a shot. That's not what I'm good at.
Wellington's going to be calling in.
But he's a pro jock. It's different.
Pro jock.
That's what Bill Murray called himself in Caddyshack with the Dalai Lama.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a pro jock.
Please step off our sweet Prince Timmy. Talk about whatever you like, sir. That's from the 314.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, Dan Orlovsky.
Can we please stop trying to make Blues talk happen? Let's talk more NBA, please. That's from the Lord of the Raider, Greg. Martin, no matter what the topic is, they're not happening.
No, they're not. They're not. Not with us, they're not.
What would you like to hear? All we ever get is what you don't want to hear.
That's right. Hey, we'll
Enough
do
of
it.
the NBA talk. Nobody cares about hockey. Nobody cares about St. Louis. Cardinal talk stupid. You guys suck.
4 hours of dead air.
Hey, guys, I was listening to the Skelly yesterday, and we have a controversy on our hands. You know, there's TMA. There's a TMA channel, Doug. It still goes on. It's, I think, the bane of Jackson's existence, but he won't acknowledge that publicly. It's 105.7 HD2. Generates $0 in revenue, but Jackson spends how many hours on it each?
Each week? 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, spread out, you know.
And oftentimes there are complaints about what's on the skeleton, Martin. Martin's just shaking his head. He's starting to enter the defeated territory. Hey, guys, I was listening to the Skelly yesterday, and we have a controversy on our hands. Jackson stated that on his dating profile, he used a picture of himself with his sister's dog. Is this a stolen valor situation with Jackie Papers pretending to like dogs to attract women? And is this how this fraud met his current little lady? That's from Big Tough.
I'll take the second part first. No, that's not. Different app. Yes, stolen valor. I am a fraud. There we go.
Okay, so 2 questions have been answered, I believe.
Okay.
German knows the dog pick. You get a huge bump.
Yeah, I get it because I've considered taking my little nephew out to the park or something. I figure that.
And then take a picture with him?
Yeah, or you know, just try the in-person thing that nobody really does anymore these days. But
to meet a lass in person.
Right.
How's that work?
What's that?
Actually meeting someone in person.
I don't know. I haven't done it in a little bit.
So what do you use the nephew and you just act like a great uncle.
So the
Hey,
nephew
little
becomes
Billy.
a prop on
Right,
social
but-
media, right?
Right,
That's the
correct.
game.
But if you-
Starter packs, which people believe Martin is Jackson's account, but the actual author of Starter Packs, Brett Knowles, was on my podcast and he unveiled himself. Says when a Central Corridor parent gets divorced, especially the male, the children become props on social media, and it's a very unfortunate situation. And then on the female side, a white G-Wagon.
But if you're out with the nephew, do you put on a show like, oh, Billy, did you want an ice cream cone? Like, do you have to really play that role up?
As long as you get the selfie with the child prop, you're good. Am I correct?
Not long ago, I asked my sister if I could take her 3-year-old out. I was going to take him down to the aquarium. And I asked the kid, actually, I said, you want to go on an adventure with Uncle Kurt? He just straight up said no.
No.
So you could not use the 3-year-old as a prop.
Not yet. We'll get there.
You're hoping the girl looks at that and says, oh, he'd be such a wonderful stepdad.
Right. Oh, no, I don't want to be a stepdad.
So you got Francesa.
Hey, I want to ask you a big favor. How about I come up to the station on Friday? Could I come up and meet you?
No. That's out.
Hey, sis, do you think I can come by, swing by, grab the kid? Maybe just for a couple hours? No.
Wouldn't it be easier with a dog?
Well, I have the dog.
Yeah.
Well, part custody.
I have him right now. It's been great. But my sister also just had a baby within like the last week and a half. So I thought, for sure she would let me take the 3-year-old out. And
And also Mazel Tov.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'll pass it along. But yeah, she must really not trust me because she gave me the Francesa.
Even then, while she is trying to handle the newborn situation, you couldn't be with the 3-year-old.
That's correct.
To use as a prop. We got this from the female listener. As a single lass from Girls Gone Wildwood, I totally look twice if there is a dog in a man's profile pic. How about that? Chairman Kurt knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and
I'm asking the female listener, and of course all of our female listeners, and Doug.
Both.
That's exactly right. What are you more apt to look at twice? A gentleman with a dog in the picture or a gentleman with a child in the picture? I would think the dog.
I would agree.
Because, and I say this as a parent, the children are considered by those who don't have children as baggage. I think that's and I bet you view it that way, Chairman.
Yeah, and on Hinge is where I like to do my work, and they'll let you know what picture was liked, and without fail, the pictures with the dogs are the ones that get me the most.
Really?
What if you put a TMA hoodie on the dog? What does that do?
Nice. Great question.
We'll test that out.
Send me some requests, boys.
I wonder if this female listener could be another candidate for Housewives of TMA, since she was part of the Girls Gone Wildwood group.
Yeah.
Girls Gone Wildwood's kind of a nice touch.
I kind of like that. That seems like that could be a spin-off of Real Housewives of TMA.
Yeah. When they go to Nashville and ride the bus.
And go, woo, for an entire weekend.
That's season 2. Then Freaky Festus season 3. Now we got something cooking.
Lying about your age at a wedding, using a kid as a prop, and wearing pearls is the saddest S ever. That's from Ernie Bjorkman, Chairman, and now you've been hit.
I don't remember lying about my age. I'm pretty upfront about my age.
And you wore a pearl necklace?
I break out the pearl necklace from time to time.
And so did Quinn Matthews in our spring training interviews. Am I correct on that, Doug?
Ernie Bjorkman's doing it.
Dog, dog, dog. 1,000 dog. Who wants to deal with someone else's kids to manage? I wouldn't like my own kids if I had them. That's from Real Housewives of TMA star Sharon Clayton.
And she wouldn't like her own kids if she had them.
That's correct.
That's sassy. Well, I could see where a woman would see a dog is fine, because even if I don't like the dog, it won't be there forever.
Sharon lies about her age. That's from Sharon's Ledoux Pool Boy. They're sideways.
How would he know about that? How would he possibly know about that?
He does work for her. He's the pool boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Flip off, Sharon. That's from the 314. They're getting frustrated with her. Chairman Kurt should just take a picture with Tim and put it on his profile. The ladies might think he's Tim, and he can have his pick of the litter. That's from MD 2020.
No, that's stolen valor. I don't want to use Tim in that way.
How many dating sites are you on right now?
I mean, by definition, on. I guess you would say 3.
And what are those, Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble?
That's correct.
And what's the, where's the fishing at its best?
Hinge.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're biting best on Hinge.
How's your slide piece?
What about
Chuckles Marlowe.
What about Bumble? That's the one where the girl has to make the first move?
Yeah, and that's my problem with Bumble is I'm okay, Doug. I'm no male model. I'm no GQ model. I need to let my personality shine through. And if they don't message me first on Bumble, I can't let my personality shine. On Hinge, I can make first contact and really suck them in.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you're wasting your time on Bumble.
I don't spend much time on Bumble.
Have you tried farmersonly.com?
No. I guess I do have those Jeffco roots in me.
Mm-hmm. Sure you do.
Can I take a picture with you to use on the profile?
Yes,
Let's
you
just
could.
do a little social
Sure,
experiment.
if that would help.
My buddy wears a Cardinal replica world championship ring anytime he goes south of Manchester and says it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Gullible women down there.
Oh.
It's from the Warson Woods Wacko.
So pretending to be like a former player?
Well, now that's the question. Would you say former player or front office? Front office, a good ring, more believable.
No, Warson Woods Wacko, you'll have to elaborate.
Although
And they're
baseball,
shooting fish in a barrel when you go south of Manchester and it's considered down there?
I've got a landing strip.
Nobody really shoots fish in a barrel, do they?
Warson Woods Wacko's buddy does.
Anywhere south of Manchester.
Sharon in Clayton is not happy with those accusing her of lying about her age. I've never mentioned my age here, and when I do, I never lie. I'm way more fit than Peeps half my age. That's from the star of The Real Housewives of TMA. Sharon in Clayton. God, these texts are unbelievable. And Doug, I think they would get the WXOS license revoked by the Federal Communications Commission if I were to read them. You can text in, however, and just realize that we have to stay within the parameters of terrestrial radio in order for it to be read. 314-399-9646. Same policy for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. This is TMA. It's presented by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. McKernan here with you to talk about aesthetic design and build online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com. Man, on a day like today, an evening like tonight, and tomorrow for that matter, how great would it be to have a high-quality custom deck customized for you and your family? Well, that's exactly what they do at Aesthetic Design and Build. That is Dan and his team, and they have a showroom in Chesterfield Valley. And I checked it out, saw it firsthand, was so impressed, had them come to my home. You can call them if you would like at 636-532-5008 or visit them online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com. They really are a design company, and they think outside the box and offer unique solutions and designs for your outdoor living projects. So impressive that they have return customers who, even when they move and then they start a new project at their new home, they use Aesthetic Design and Build, which speaks to the caliber of work they do. It's aestheticdesignandbuild.com. Call them and let them know that you heard about them on TMA. The number is 636-532-5008 or visit them online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com. Yeah, Teen Wolf, you're right. 1985. Pointer Sisters?
I just don't
It says here
remember.
the Wolf Sisters.
Wonder if they had a contract issue and they just changed their name. Kind of like when Bobby Valentine got ejected and then reappeared in disguise.
Nobody could figure that out.
Fake nose and glasses.
I think it's like a seasonal beer, you know. They just went by Wolf Sisters for 1985.
Bobby Valentine, he was kind of fun. He's the one who did the lineup where he threw all the names in a hat and just pulled them out one day.
Was he really fiery? Was that what he was known for?
Yeah, I think so.
Braves, right?
Decent player in his day.
Mets manager largely, maybe. Rangers manager?
Rangers, yeah.
Okay.
Metropolitans.
They went to Japan for a while.
The program's called TMA. We're in the Fisher Window and Door Store, 8 o'clock hour. We solicit your involvement on a beautiful Thursday morning in St. Louis. Collier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101, or feel free to text into the program, 314-399-9646. And, of course, we got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat where a couple hundred friends are in there talking it over, Doug. Crystal City Liquorman's talking to the Rogue Onion and Dogtown Ty. And Big Blonde Dan's in there with Tiny Pee-Pee. So it's a fun time.
And the guy's name is the Crystal City Liquorman?
That's correct.
Okay.
And he says Sharon's probably just a dude named Shane anyways. That's what the Crystal City...
No, I know that's not the case.
Oh, yeah, you've met Sharon.
I've met Sharon at a Blues game. Mm-hmm. Wonderful woman.
So do you feel like she's got an advantage? Maybe the other ladies at the auditions will feel like she has an advantage because you already have a rapport with her.
Well, I don't know that I have much of a rapport, but I've met her. Fabulous gal. Whether that gives, I don't know what an advantage would be, what they're looking for. It's not a competition, is it?
To win the Real Housewives spots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds of women want to be on this show. But
We
you're only
haven't got
taking
hundreds of
4,
women
right?
listeners. We got a couple.
What? Got Caller Ellen.
Yes.
Got
Ellen
the
could be
female
in there.
listener from
Yes.
Girls Gone Wildwood.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, the Stars scored 5 unanswered goals, and they were down 3-1 going into the third period, and then rattled off 5 to ship the Edmonton Oilers, who had to go into the third period feeling pretty good about things, and then 5 minutes into the third period, approximately, they were losing, and that's what the Stars do. They can get you and get you really quickly. Here is Leon Draisaitl following the game. I'm anxious to hear what this is because he can sometimes be what you would describe as a banty rooster.
He doesn't like when their defense is questioned, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
He even said before this series, how many times we're going to talk about it? And then they gave up 5 goals in the third period.
Yeah, maybe talk about it again. All right, go ahead, hit the lever, please, Pale.
Okay.
Stand by for set
Okay.
audio.
Just penalties. Obviously couldn't come up with a kill, and then game got away from us a little bit through the kill, and obviously then a power play when you have a chance to tie it up wasn't much better. So just look at it, correct it.
You guys, it seemed at even strength through the first 40 minutes or so. You had a pretty good formula going on, and maybe just what happened in the third there where you couldn't get back to that.
Well, I mean, we give up 3 goals in a row on the kill. It just kills the momentum, and then you're chasing the game. The game changes from there. So we got to be an awful lot more mature than that.
Hit the goalpost. That's all I can hear now. No matter what the guy says in the soundbite, all I hear is the sounder at the end.
and you're wondering, okay, when's this bite end and what is it going to sound like?
I thought he was going to get Banty. He never got Banty.
No.
I don't think he could in that situation. He's already played that card. Stop talking about our defense. Now, they were 3 power play goals.
But that's still, I mean,
Still a
it could
lot
be
of-
even more damning if you can't kill 1 penalty there. What do I know?
Both the NHL and NBA games last night had miraculous late comebacks.
Yeah. Great games, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Nice observation, Doug.
Are you beating?
encouraging texts?
Are you beating the texters to the punch?
Mm-hmm.
Self-report card. I like that.
I mean, both 2 games that you never see, really.
Right.
5 goals in the third period to come back and win.
Yeah.
That's the last time that happened in a playoff game.
Right.
He said crowdsourcing.
What would they have done to help?
A nice segment.
Feels good.
This is very
This is a
self-aware,
resume
Doug.
reel segment.
Right to Billings.
if the Pacers lose in overtime, that Halliburton choke sign, that'd be just it'd be ESPN Takey
You'd
Center.
have to sleep at the Garden. You couldn't leave.
They would lose their mind.
You couldn't walk.
It was a premature choke job.
Yeah. Oh,
Are you doing Greeny?
No, just an example of somebody on the East Coast hosting a morning show on ESPN. But it's not Greeny.
It will never not be hilarious to me how NBA games with the best players in the world end with the worst effing shots outside of second grade CYC hoops. That's from Arbor Day.
Yeah, Knicks didn't get. Well, Karl Anthony Towns had a good look there at the end of overtime. Jalen Brunson's probably was not. But Halliburton, if that air balls, you'd be like, that's the worst shot I've ever seen, but it went in. That's how good these guys are.
That was the worst shot you've ever seen?
Well, he dribbled it back 20 feet, and it was like a fadeaway. He has a weird-looking jumper. But it went down.
Taken the two-pointer and just gone for the tie there.
But yeah, he ended up just kind of going for the tie. But yes. But he obviously did that, try to get a three.
Kevin Harlan approval rating, is he about a 95?
I think he's 96. Way up there. I love Harlan.
It's rare in 2025 for a broadcaster to have a 95% approval rating, but I think he's probably there. Vince Scully might have been the last one. Mm-hmm. I think you're right on that, Matt.
Like Al Michaels was always really strong, but
then he got bored by some of the playoff games.
And then like he was calling Amazon games, like, I don't know who's out there.
Well, they give him like Bucks Browns, like make spin gold.
He showed them.
I don't remember the last network guy I watched a game and thought, oh, this guy's so bad, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't remember that happening.
But that's you. Social media, where things are usually celebrated, tend to
be a little
bitch
negative
about whoever it is, but I would agree that you don't see much of that regarding Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, Harlan, I would say before he retired, Doc Emmerich was at the highest of high approval ratings. Like,
probably so.
Who do you know who would dislike him? But I think now, and Harlan does football games too, I think he might be the most universally loved American sports broadcaster or play-by-play guy.
I think the guy who does the Brewers and he does some network stuff too is Brian Anderson.
Yeah, he's really
I think
good.
he's fantastic.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's good at everything, but he's just, for some reason, still not a big household name.
And then the Dodgers guy, Joe Davis, right?
Joe Davis does a lot of Fox.
He's good. He's good.
But you recognize that few have super high approval ratings in 2025.
Very rare. Very rare.
The way that you get the approval ratings is you either pass away or retire.
Usually.
And then you get your praise.
Right.
Which is nice.
But there's a Gus element to Harlan. Like when he's in the bill, I just feel like there might be something exciting. He's so good at the big moments.
Yeah.
And he gets excited. You just wonder with Harlan, is it going to happen? Like when Gus would walk in the building, he'd say, oh my God, we're going to have a buzzer beater.
Right, yeah. I feel like you're like manifesting it almost.
In St. Louis, I don't think there was anyone who didn't like Jack Buck. Now, when he got to the national level, because his style was a little different, he took some criticism.
Yeah.
But within the St. Louis market, calling the Cardinals, he may have had a 100% approval rating.
You think Nance has super high? Or do you think there's some people who don't like it as much?
Some are going to complain about anything.
Syrupy. But
yes, I think that would be the critique. I don't know what the right word written out lines.
Oh, yes, you can. You can.
Was it Rich Gould who said he's watched the Masters until he can't take Nance anymore?
That's what, Rich gets a little. I think Nance is backed away. And I kind of, it's funny, we would mock the corny calls, and then I started to kind of miss him.
Oh, I love it. When the Masters rolls on and he's doing...
Don't you want somebody a little syrupy for those dramatic golf tournaments?
For something like the Masters.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, especially the Masters.
Yeah.
Jim Nance is the worst. That's from the 314.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Blues fans used to bitch about Doc Emmerich being a Hawks fan. That's from Niven Holt.
I can't take that stuff seriously. Like when you think a guy's pull. Although, if I was a Knicks fan with Reggie Miller last night, it's like, how can you not be biased? I would get that.
I understand that. It's only a matter of time until we have AI play-by-play men. That's 100% neutral. That's from Kevin's brother. His first name's Jack. His last name is Demoff.
Well, the networks would also save about $20 million a year on the broadcast.
Unions wouldn't go for that. I mean, that's the whole actor strike was SAG-AFTRA was about. You can't replace this with AI.
I'm not sure these guys are union, though.
I'm not sure either, but
I doubt they are.
You don't think they're SAG? I would think they would be.
I don't know.
I think
they may be. Maybe they
might be required to be
yeah.
in the union, but then they negotiate outside the parameters.
Sure, but they'd be protected by their most recent strike. I would think. I don't know.
Nance was on, and Frank and I, we said, what would you say if Mizzou won the national championship? And he had to think. He goes, let's see. Because we put him on the spot, and he said, guess who? Mizzou.
Nice.
It was a great drop.
They're complaining that we won't put Pestis on the air. See,
how do they know he's on?
I just saw
he's
Crystal
not.
City Liquor Man said, let Pestis through. Let him on the show. That's from the Crystal City Liquor Man. I don't believe he's on hold, Chairman. All right, fair enough. 314-974-0101. That is how you can call in the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. And Martin, you're a Design Air heating and cooling client, aren't you?
Going back years. Love when Design Air pulls up. That means you're going to get the repair done. They'll do it the right way without the added pressure of trying to sell you something. It happens too often in that industry. That's why Seth Goldcamp and his whole team focuses on the repair and making sure they're not trying to sell you something you don't need. If you need a brand new unit, they're going to get you the very best out there, high quality. But if it's just a repair, they're going to get it done professionally. You can find out more at designairservice.com. That's the website for a company that's been around now over 100 years. Fourth generation family-owned business, so year-round. You know what it's like. You walk in the house, you want it to be nice and toasty in the wintertime, nice and cool summertime. When it's not quite right, keep hitting that dial and the numbers, and it's just not matching up. You probably got something wrong. Make sure you get the pros from Design Air to come on out. They've been doing it for a long time. They're going to be here another 10, 20, 30 years. You can count on that. It's designairservice.com.
Design Air Heating and Cooling, sponsor of the email today. Email in to compete the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. The program's called TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and at youtube.com/TMASTL.
When it's time to load up on groceries, you're looking to save money, it's tough right now, so Schnucks is doing everything they can. First, they lowered the prices on over 2,300 items, including Jackson's Stoke Coffee, and they continue to find more items that they can reduce the price on. They've been trying hard to do this. It's not a flash sale. This is not get in there today or tomorrow. These are prices they have permanently knocked down. You'll also see the digital shelf tags notifying you of more savings. These are everyday savings at your neighborhood Schnucks. So stop by. Also download the Rewards app. That way you can keep track of all things on your phone there, and also pay you back every time you check out. You add to your points total, and eventually you go in there and they say you got $20. You want to use it? $30. You can pile up the points when you're shopping at Schnucks, and you're saving money on more than 2,300. It just keeps growing, the number of items that have been marked down. Stop by Schnucks and look for all those everyday savings.
Is that Shabuzi?
That's right, Doug. Good on you. You are having a big show.
Big show for me.
I think a lot of people think Shabuzi's a one-hit wonder. He's a great musician. I'm a big fan.
Doug, are you buying Shabuzi stock?
Yeah, he's had a couple big hits. At least the one big hit that I know.
Massive hit, but then a lot of his other music's really good.
Jackson's on board. I didn't think you were a country music guy.
Not really, but he incorporates some hip-hop elements to it that I really enjoy. He's got a song with Big X the Plug that I think is outstanding.
Doug, do you like his song with Big X the Plug?
I'm probably unaware of that one.
The Drink Don't Need No Mix is what that one's called. Yeah, I've listened to some more Shabuzi. It's kind of come up on my shuffle.
The Drink Don't Need No Mix?
The Drink Don't, yeah.
The Drink Don't Need No Mix.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like Shabuzi a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, we got that.
If that gets me into that might get me into country music, slowly but surely.
His stage name originates from a mispronunciation of his real last name, Chibueze, and somebody called him Shabuzi.
I like stories like that.
That's a nice story, Martin. You're having a big show, too.
Everybody's starting to really kind of... Because Eric in the Central West End wants Jackson to be replaced by AI. So I guess not everybody is...
Nope.
Would AI go into the dossier and update things? I just noticed that we have attendance standings in addition to the Cardinals series wins.
Jackson, give us updated attendance standings.
This is for the guessing game?
Yeah, so I gave everyone one. I said, kind of since I can't remember, tracking back, everyone has one correct. So on a Cardinal game, everyone takes the over-under on the projected attendance, and I'll keep standings.
All right.
Yeah.
We all have one.
All have one. I think that's fair. Everyone starts with one because I can't track going back a week or two.
And everyone gets a trophy.
Well, not yet.
It feels like we all get a trophy. We have at least one win.
Come the end of September, someone will win.
The Cardinals series wins, a.k.a. the real record in the Stiefel dossier, wins 9, losses 6, split 1, attendance standings, Martin 1, Jackson 1, Tim 1, Doug 1.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're all getting a trophy just to start with, a ribbon maybe.
It's just like the free space and bingo,
Maybe Doug will feel better if you take his away. Give him a 0. Then maybe he'll feel better.
Would you like 0? But you got one right 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So now you do remember.
I do remember.
Mine was earned. Were the other two earned?
I won
Martin got it yesterday.
Okay, his is earned.
Wasn't sure.
Tim always, Tim's getting one.
Oh
gosh.
That's the right thing to do. I agree with that.
That was a good strike.
209 friends have gathered at youtube.com/TMASTL to complain about Mr. Licks. That's in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. Licks is horrendous. That comes from John Travolta.
Licks has chimed in today.
They're doing Mount Rushmore of worst callers.
Oh, is that right? Okay, got it. All right, now I understand. I just look in there and I read the first thing that I see, and it's the last comment that I saw. You can call in 314-974-0101, Collier and Thompson phone lines, and you're also welcome to text into the program, 314-399-9646. Why does Jackson speak so much? He's the least knowledgeable and least interesting person on the show. I'd rather hear more KG. That's from the 314. Doug, everybody is taking it today, and nobody is safe on this program.
In defense of Jackson, Jay Bennett, he is often referred to by us. What do you think, Jackson? How about that, Papers? So we often invite you into the conversation in your defense.
That text was too silly to dignify with a response.
Yeah.
Now I got Nick, Tim. It's the Stiefel dossier, not the dossier from Rhett at Stiefel.
Mike Francesa is off to a rough start with this Knicks Pacers series, Doug. What do we have here, little Jackie?
Did he react to the late night?
He did. He was on. He did go live after the game.
Oh, he did?
Where he mentioned several times that he was courtside. But
so he was courtside and then he went to the show?
That's what, he was saying, I was right there. Yeah. So I guess he fired it up right after.
God bless.
Good on him.
I wonder if he has a studio at the Garden.
There might be something where he could have a setup like that. I'm not sure.
Gabe does his post-game show where he's verbally assaulted by our audience from the Faroe Field press box.
And the fire alarm went off during basketball games. He was scrambling around some suite trying to figure out what's going on. The place was about to come down. This was him last week prior talking about what he thinks will happen in Game 1.
They don't start the series now until Wednesday. Knicks get some rest. Indiana will probably be complaining because they have too much rest. They're going to have a lot of time off. That will probably make them vulnerable in game number 1.
He's a horse's ass for doing that.
Oh.
Well, hold.
I'm not sure I understood what any of that was.
I just like the way it says vulnerable. Vulnerable.
Okay.
But
he was wrong.
So that was his preview of the
I was going to say
series.
that was in advance of the game. And then when he said he's a horse's ass, was that about last night and the choke
That was
scene?
my Francesa sounder.
That was from years ago. He said that.
So it
Something
was,
about Patrick
I
Reed.
think he was either upset at Penn State head coach James Franklin for calling a timeout before kicking a field goal up by 50 points, or Patrick Reed for laying up with a 5-iron. And why that bothered him so much is beyond me, but he was very passionate about Patrick Reed's decision to lay up.
Okay, but that was not audio of Francesa
That was
last
Jackson
night.
weaving it in, and Jackson might owe the audience an apology, and I wouldn't mind seeing it on Twitter.
Take some
Apologize
time.
for what?
I
And a good
thought we
drop.
were going to hear from him reacting to the game.
Oh, but no. But I said beforehand that this was him last week. I did say that.
But didn't you say he also was bragging about sitting front row?
Yeah, I don't have any audio from that.
But you heard it.
It was too much. There was too much there. There's too much.
Okay. I kind of wanted to hear his take on what happened. I mean, raise your hand if you wanted to hear Francesa's take on the Knicks choking.
So
and then Tyrese, I think I see 3. KG, you got a hand? Okay.
Good for you, KG. Maybe
You're standing with the Producers
form a
Alliance.
tertiary alliance.
Tertiary.
I was in the
Can
process
we get it
of
in the
cutting.
next, I don't know, 3 hours?
I was in the process of kind of. It's a 45-minute YouTube channel, so like pick out. It would take me whatever.
Just slice it.
Give it up.
There's no answer I could give where it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Jackson. You're all good. It's like, no pale.
Now he's mad.
No, I'm not mad.
Replace Jackson!
Oh, come on.
Love.
With AI.
Whoa, that clip sucked, and here they come. Here they come.
And I'm sorry for furthering it, but I genuinely would like to hear, and I feel like a 45-minute France that you just played from the beginning, and the first minute will be gold, and we just dump out.
All right, I'll pull it up. But remember when this is played that Martin asked for it. I want that to be known.
Okay. So
Maybe
if
the
this
alliance is falling apart,
if this tanks, it's on me.
Yeah.
But has Francesa ever let you down?
Ask the audience. They seem to be up in arms about the clip I just played of Mike Francesa.
How about this? Here's some support from Marcia's burner, too. I'll throw hands with the 314. Jackson, along with everyone on the show, is great. Doug, that is a very off-brand text.
Really? Got to get rid of
Marcia's
him.
burner sending that in.
We prefer to be ripped.
All right, here you go.
Well, all right,
The
Bet
Mike
Rivers.
Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network, and we come to you after Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final as the metropolitan area of New York and Knick fans everywhere literally pick themselves up off the floor after one of the absolutely most devastating losses they will ever encounter. I was sitting courtside on May 7th, 1995, when Reggie Miller,
May 7th, 95.
who was without question one of the greatest clutch shooters in the history of the sport. He was uncanny. He wasn't the best player, but he was an incomparable late game shooter. And I was there and watched that 8 points in 9 seconds to beat the Knicks in that game. I saw it in person. I still didn't believe it as I walked out of the building that day. And what I watched tonight might have been a fourth quarter performance of that
caliber,
of that on that level.
Okay. All right.
Bad audio, Martin.
Come on, Martin. You got to be better than this.
And then Chairman Kurt actually says, nice audio, Martin. And that's in the Michelob.
The Tertiary Alliance just strengthened.
Yeah, the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat.
I
Chairman
enjoyed it
Kurt's doing
because we got a little window into Mike there where it was all about him and the 95 game.
No, it was still
But it was
worth it.
reacting to last
That
night's
was my
game.
bad. I thought he was saying he was there last night.
Because I was wondering how he immediately then just
Right.
went and did his pod. I mean, I know that's realistic. I'd just be surprised if the Garden was like, oh, sure, you want to do your podcast from here? Even
Although,
if you're Francesa.
That's the only thing that would be like, he's like God out there. But, yeah. My bad, Martin's bad, we're all bad.
It's a real downer for the show.
This is a we'll pivot and we'll be good.
That was so awful. What are we doing?
Come on,
That's
leave
from
us be.
Harrison's brother, Master, who usually is
supportive.
Right. Give Jackson a tertiary alliance with the exit door. That's Eric in the Central West End.
I see Tim is conveniently not reading Shooter McGavin. Best clip ever, Martin. Thanks for making Jackson. Thanks for making Jackson do 15 seconds of work.
Oh,
bugger!
Oh my God, I got to catch myself.
That
sometimes.
one got you a little bit.
I got to catch myself.
This clip sucks. Pales out. Bring back evil David Letterman. It's from Johnny Johnson.
That's not happening.
All right. Francesa says it's comparable to Reggie at the Garden in the zone, 8 points, 9 seconds, 1995, Doug, 30 years ago.
Okay.
Anthony Mason.
That's what my brother was texting me. He was like, you can't understand how unbelievable it is that Reggie Miller is on the call right now of a Pacers-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals game at the Garden. Like, it's just insanity.
Okay. You think that loss for the Knicks was as tough as our Blues loss? Probably not.
I asked that question in the 7 o'clock hour. I swear to God, I was right here.
You had a hot start.
I'm just getting back to it.
Are you a couple segments behind?
I'm
is there a
circling
lag
back.
in Doug's audio?
This was a
I think
circle
the Blues is still worse, even if you take out the Game 7 aspect of it.
Audience cycles on and cycles off. You need to reset the conversation. That's why when Joe Buck would be on, we're like, and we're visiting with Joe Buck, and he'd give like a 30-second answer. Joining us now is Joe. He's like, stop doing that. Because they yelled at us, Doug, that we didn't reset enough.
That's what we're doing now.
Right.
How about that Cardinal loss? That's another reset.
Guys, can you have shirts made that say, I'm bad, you're bad, we're all bad? That's from the female listener who is now known as, she's a part of the Girls Gone Wildwood. And she says she will look at Chairman Kurt's profile if he has a dog in it. So there you go.
Okay.
She's a single ass herself.
She didn't say how old she was, did she?
I do not.
How old would you
that.
like her to be?
Yeah, what's the sweet spot, brother? You're 39, right?
Yep. Got about a month till I turn 40.
Okay.
I would go up to 45.
All right.
And how low will you go down?
Oh, this is a dangerous one. 28.
Okay.
28 to 45.
17-year range, Doug. All right.
Delta. It's like our guy on opening
Bachelor
day.
baseball.
Remember guy? Yes, Bachelor baseball.
He had a stranger. Like it was a wide delta.
The 617 is now calling you Jackie Walking Papers.
Oh no.
Oh, I get it.
It's not nice.
Tim, I was wondering, do you think that Knicks loss was worse than the Blues loss?
No, that's a good question.
Thanks.
Because I think it probably was close, but not
close.
quite there.
Yeah. Yes, I still think Blues is 1.6 seconds is.
Yeah. And it happened to us, and we don't care so much about other people.
That's right.
I'll say that I was having this conversation yesterday. Hadn't seen a guy in a while, and he goes, that Blues game. I go, God, man, it's been, 16, 17 days. And he goes, I was thinking through this. I really wanted the Jets to lose, not because they beat the Blues, but if they lost, it kind of fades a bit because it isn't part of a story in which they go and win the Stanley Cup. So while the Pujols-Lidge thing certainly lives forever, it's lessened by the fact that the Cardinals lost the next game and then the Astros went on to go to the World Series. Similar is the Freeze moment, but they went on to win the World Series. So had the Rangers won, which I think La Russa said in the pregame speech to those guys, he said, hey, it's all for naught if you don't win tonight. And they were able to deliver. But to the Astros' credit, they were able to bounce back following that thing, which at least I can't. Martin, you and I were doing the show together at that time. I know we went back to St. Louis thinking there's no way the Astros win a game. And it was Mark Mulder who got worked over by Roy Oswalt.
Final game ever at the old Busch.
We talked about it yesterday, though. I believe yesterday, the Carlton Fisk home run, and then coming back and winning Game 7. You know, full circle right there.
That game lived up to the cliche that your momentum is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher.
I haven't heard that adage.
Man, that's what it is. And it was proven that night.
Yeah, for sure.
Doug, same buddy who wears the Cardinals replica World Championship ring south of Manchester. His age range is 18 to 77, and he's hit the high water mark already. He's 48. It's from the Warson Woods Wacko. So he's been with a 77-year-old? Huh.
Well,
guess all we can do is doff our caps.
Yeah. But that was when he was south of Manchester.
Guess so. Jackson was supposed to change my name to Shohei Ohtani's accountant. This guy's not happy in the 617.
I was supposed to.
Clearly on you. Yeah.
Well, you don't get to everything. Good luck, or good thing that June 1st is fast approaching.
Yeah,
it is.
You'll change it then, or no? Just
no,
to spite him.
No, I mean, one of the listeners. If I missed you, I apologize. But
look at that.
There's a lot of requests that come in. I'm not perfect.
You can participate and name yourself in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. Dogtown Ties in there talking to Iggy. Who's talking to the Rich PP, who's talking to Big Blonde Dan, who's talking to John Travolta, and Jake and St. Jen, who you apologized to, Martin, for leaving at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I know it hurts Jake and his family, so I do apologize.
Look at that.
And I'm so upset about it, I'm going to take some time away.
At 10 o'clock.
Big Blonde Dan is involved in the YouTube and on the text line. He multitasking.
Yeah, we have some multitaskers, and it's great. Hey, God bless the engagement. You're welcome to participate. So many different ways to do so. Email the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the design, air, heating, and cooling email of the day. And, of course, text in, call in, or participate in the YouTube chat. Doug, you'd like to tell us about Mark Milton, who's a wonderful, wonderful gentleman.
Well, he is. He's not only a wonderful gentleman, he's the best tax attorney in the St. Louis or any other region. You have years of unfiled tax returns or tax liens, bank levies, wage garnishments keeping you up at night. Maybe you're even facing IRS criminal investigation. This is very serious stuff. You need somebody in your corner to protect you from the godforsaken tax man, and that guy is Mark Milton. Mark Milton at STLTaxLawyer.com provided a local and holistic approach to tax resolution. Mark started his legal career with the Department of Justice Tax Division in Washington, D.C., where he represented the IRS in tax cases around the country and even received the DOJ's Outstanding Trial Attorney Award. So this guy is among the best in the entire nation at what he does, and now he helps individuals and small businesses right here in St. Louis solve their tax problems. So if you have any kind of IRS issues at all, the guy to contact is Mark Milton at STLTaxLawyer.com today, and you'll be saying, no, I'm not guilty, I'm with Milty. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Iggy has challenged Donald Trump to a golf match, and he says that he would watch him so he cannot cheat. So a challenge has been issued to the president to play Ken Iggy Strode. Martin, would the Two Fox cover that?
It'd be tough to get a photographer, but for that, would it be? Do we know where the match is being played? Do we think it's in town? Or are we traveling? I have to get that approved. Yeah, I love this theater.
Yeah.
Ken versus Donald.
I'm sure Trump will get right on that. He's not doing anything else right now.
So it's Iggy's about an 18 handicap. I think the president is like in the 2 to 4 range.
Is he really that good?
That's his handicap. So
scores reported.
So that'd be a good little showdown. And yeah, if that's on the Two Fox, that'd be a big get for you. So color me interested. That's going on in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, youtube.com/TMASTL. The program's called The Morning After, and it airs on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We had a hell of a game one last night in the Eastern Conference Finals as the Pacers come all the way back, down 14 points with 2.5 to play, and winning in overtime 138-135 behind a beautiful Tyrese Halliburton game-tying deep, too. That was our Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Zombie or Frankenstein, maybe Transformers this year. The Police or the Beatles, maybe base it off a movie. There's a contest going on tonight. The best one wins the prize.
Okay. All right.
It's Halloween. It's time to scare the pants off your friends. It's Halloween.
Doug, Acoustic Sessions. Welcome to us back here in the Fisher Window and Door Store 8 o'clock hour on TMA. And Jackson, another compliment for you. What a response. What a bounce back. Jackson has been working on his Saliga spots, and they are sounding great. That's from Big Tough.
That's nice. That's nice. Thank you.
And
nice
then
going.
The Jackson hit puberty during that Sports Center update. That's from Kwame Boyukas IV, who I believe, Martin, you put on your Mount Rushmore of worst texters.
Irritants, maybe.
Irritants.
But that's fine. He actually asked earlier if we just get Coach Shirts back in here. It'd be fine. Little round table.
Why, sure.
I definitely don't like basketball, but I love when I can get a real deep two. Hard to come by. That's from the 314. Is that in reference to Jackson's Sports Center update and Tyrese?
Yeah. I was thinking, I was going to say game tying 3, but of course was not. So I had to say deep 2, you know.
Does this guy only play the same 5 songs? This sucks. That's from Gooner Reloaded.
Gosh. No, I actually play a wide variety, and my brain is like on a treadmill trying to figure out what song to play next, so it's quite difficult. We have 12 segments a show. It's hard. But no, I don't like that text at all, actually.
I haven't heard Glowworm in quite some time.
Oh, good call. I can add that to
Yeah, if you would.
Yeah, for sure.
Brendan Donovan saying in Katie Woo's article this morning, when you look at the lineup, there are so many different ways we can beat someone. We can run, we can make contact, we can take our walks, and we got some thump in there. You have guys that are not giving in. Victor Scott said, everybody's extremely confident in their abilities and what they bring to the table. Some days we don't put it all together, and that's okay, but most days we will. It's just a matter of everybody clicking on all cylinders and starting to string together more wins. So the Cardinals, at this point in the season, I would imagine most people would say, are doing better than they would have anticipated, even though now they've lost 3 of 4 games. They are 27-23, 50 games into the season, Doug. And therefore, would you like me to give you a at this pace? Mark McGuire liked when people would tell him at this pace.
He would even say it in this mocking, at this pace. He would spit it back at the reporters in a very mocking tone because it often came up. Hey, Mark, I don't know if you're aware, but at this pace, he's at this pace. I wish I had the audio clip of that.
It was great.
So condescending.
I witnessed it. It was outstanding. For the record, they are on track to win 87.48 games.
Okay.
So, Doug, the over-under, 87.5 wins for the St. Louis Cardinals at this point in the season. That's the pace. At this pace, Martin, where would you go?
That sounds like about the right pace to me. Pestis and Festus said they'd win 90 to 95 games. I'm not sure they're going to get there. Although, if they continue to get the starting pitching like they've had, they can get to 90. I would say more likely is about 86.
Oh, you're going under. Wow.
I might
Have
go
fun with your rights
86.
holder gig.
Okay.
All right, then I'll go 86.1.
Oh, will you, you son of a sack ass?
I'm going to say 87.
You think 87? Boy, you really are. Your price is riding Doug on it.
Yeah, I think I'll go 87.
I'll say this. I don't think the things that you hear the guys on the team, and for that matter, Ali Marmol, the manager as well, I don't think it's smoke. I think they really believe that they are a good team. And along those lines, it takes me back to when Robert Thomas would be on with us. And even though record-wise, it wouldn't necessarily indicate that the Blues were a really good team, they believed they were a really good team, and who knows better than the guy, because they know when they're not, and they know when they are. So that's something that I have to factor in. The starting pitching strikes me as something that just inevitably has got to drop off. I suppose you could make a case that the offense could either stick around or improve, or as Brendan Donovan said in that quote in Katie Wu's article in The Athletic, could improve because they have so many different ways to beat you. So therefore, I would short the starting pitching, whereas I would say the lineup could hold serve and or improve. With that said, Doug, 87.5 wins strikes me as a little high, and I also would go on the under on 87.5. I got to be honest. I'm kind of surprised we're all going under.
Well, can I change my prediction?
Jackson, you're in charge here. I don't know.
Doug can do what he likes.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Since Martin said 87, I'm going to go 88 now.
Oh, wow. That takes you over. That takes you over.
Takes me over.
You've said enough to get your rights holder merit badge.
That's what I was hoping to get. It's one I didn't have yet. So I think there's a chance that they can just get hot and maybe put together that many wins.
Really?
And it gives me a better chance to win this whole thing.
I got the Cardinal win total over at 76.5 wins. Is that a lock? Yeah, that's what it was before the season, Boozy. And I was on the over. I wasn't passionately on the over. My passionate over was the White Sox at, I think it's like 53. It was either 52.5 or 53.5. And that's going to be a battle all the way to the finish, I think. But 76.5 wins, I would feel real good if I had the over on 76.5 wins and a nice size bet on that.
Tim, were you on the over of the Dodgers win total as well?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that, one?
And they are on pace to win 101 games. I think it was...
Which is a little off, right?
I think it was 105,
okay.
105.5.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of injuries.
But the starting pitchers who haven't gotten hurt have not really performed particularly well. You're right. They have had a lot of injuries. I kind of wonder if baseball will get to a point, certainly like the Vegas Golden Knights get accused of doing this, and the NBA players just do it, where they kind of go, all right, we'll be fine. We'll just kind of schedule things, and guys will take some IL stops, and we'll make sure we're ready for October, when at that point now you got a month of baseball as opposed to 2 or 3 series. I do wonder about...
Wouldn't be a bad plan.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Load management.
Load management. Do you think load management's going on? Especially for a team of that caliber? Like winning 110 games doesn't do them any good.
I think with pitching it does. I think position players got to handle the day-to-day, but like with pitching, yeah, especially come September, I think it'd be kind of silly not to. I mean, you don't want to break guys' routine and get them out of sorts, but if you can have guys well-rested going to the playoffs, why wouldn't you? Just to what? So some cheap pop fan doesn't be like, I came here and I spent $30 on this ticket.
Wow.
Anti-fan.
I want to see Bobby Miller.
Anti-caddy. Anti-porridge.
Well, would you rather see, Bobby Miller pitch in September or another World Series trophy? What are we doing?
And they might be. The Dodgers would be a team that would probably look at all those scenarios and kind of map it out that way.
Let's say, like, if the least they make it...
They're on pace for a 101, and it's like, God, what's wrong with the Dodgers?
Right.
Son of a sack ass. Doug, I LOL'd so hard I almost dropped a dumbbell on my toe. Laughing emojis. That's from Sharon in Clayton, who's letting us know she's working out.
All right. Well, I don't want to see her
we
get
get
hurt.
it. You work out, guy.
What percentage of our listening audience do you think works out regularly? 2 or 3%?
Let me go into the tank on this.
Okay.
Rakes, what are we calling? Works out regularly. 3 times a week. Is that fair?
At least, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say 16.5%. I feel really nice about that number, too.
Sounds like you've met a lot of these fellows.
That's why that seems so high.
I think that's a good number. Maybe a little higher.
A little higher.
I'd go under.
I'd say 25%. Maybe I'll go 30.
Yeah, okay.
Usually when I encounter a listener in the wild, they're at Waffle House. They're not at the gym.
And you're at Waffle House, Doug?
Just to see the listeners.
By dumbbell, Sharon means a Yeti full of rosé. Thanks. That's from Big Tough.
Oh, yeah. Summer water.
Summer water.
Is that what it's called? Summer water. Let's see. OMG, we know you work out and you're a supermodel. That's Sharon's Ledoux pool boy. And I guess they're in some kind of litigation over his termination as her pool boy. And he's just very frustrated and he's sending in these shots.
Well, maybe he doesn't skim the pool very well.
Look at me, I work out.
Okay, Charlie.
God, lots of good text coming in, and not many can be read, though. 314-399-9646. That's how you can text into the program. Michelob Ultra YouTube chat is youtube.com/TMASTL. And we welcome to call in the Collier and Thompson phone lines at 314-974-0101. Doug, if you want to podcast the program, it's the Schaefer Door Company podcast. Tell me about Schaefer Door and that Jason Gosrow. He's a delight.
Well, that's the name you need to know whenever you have problems with the garage door. And sooner or later it's going to happen because it is the biggest working piece of your entire house. And sooner or later something's going to go wrong. Maybe you need a whole new garage door. Probably not. You just need a little tune up there, a little fix there. When they came out to my house, they gave me, you know what? They gave me a strut. And that fixed everything. Schaefer Door is spelled, here's how I'm going to spell it. Schaefer. There apparently has been some confusion about the spelling of the name. Schaefer. Schaefer. Only one F. Only one F. They'll give you the quickest response time whenever you have a problem. They even have that special Monday morning standby service for doors that break over the weekend. They service all kinds of garage doors for service and new installs with LiftMaster. LiftMaster garage door openers are strong, quiet, and versatile, and they can handle those commercial doors too, those big giant commercial doors. If you have a business or a warehouse with those big doors, Schaefer's experienced in that type of job as well. The business has multiple family members working there, big enough to get any kind of job done, small enough that when you call, you're actually going to talk with a person who'll get you taken care of, and they'll get you taken care of toot sweet. Service techs are not commission-based. You don't have to worry about them trying to sell you something that you just don't need. The website is schaeferdoor.com, or you can call or text at 636-782-3608. Schaefer Door is a LiftMaster partner.
Want a podcast? Podcast via the Schaefer Door Company podcast here on TMA 101 ESPN. Martin, you wanted to hear from the Barge guy? This is kind of late for him. He's on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Good morning, Barge guy.
Hello, Bargy.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, just fine. You on the barge today, or are you home?
No, I got to work tonight at 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. And then you work all night up and down the Old Man River.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got to tell you, I'm 58 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I spent my whole life listening to the radio on the blues all my life when I was like 12, 13 years old. So I listened to the radio when the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm like, oh my God. And it was horrible. I'm outside of my house. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it was ridiculous. But
you're talking about the playoff loss?
What's wrong with your phone line?
Nothing.
Okay. Are we going back? Are you talking Game 7 in Winnipeg? You're recounting?
Yes. It was horrible.
Are you over it yet?
Am I what?
Over it. Are you over it yet?
Doug, should I not go to the phone anymore?
Because I think next year will be even better.
Okay.
So you're over it, but you're upset by it.
All right.
What do we got going on right about now? What are you up to?
Right now, I'm drying my clothes. And getting ready to work tonight.
Okay, rest up maybe.
The Cardinals are doing great. I love them.
Jesus.
What exactly do you have in the dryer?
My clothes.
Okay. The full outfit? You got to wear a uniform on the barge or just any old thing?
No, I wear, the uniform. It says ADM with my name on it.
Nice.
So,
all right. Boots? I'm assuming steel-toed work boots.
Doug needs the entire wardrobe.
Steel-toed boots. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have. We've got, flotation devices on our body and hard hat and gloves.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dangerous work, but someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Thank you.
Martin, this is David Klein performing the Cranberry Zombie.
Wow, zombie. Barge Guy Jackson's dad, I would just need you to rest up a little bit today. Whatever's in the blender, maybe let's take a break.
I'm going to bed here in a little bit.
See, okay. As doctor's advice, that's a recommendation. What? Doug said, "Good morning, America."
That was a sort of laugh.
I love y'all.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks for calling. Be safe.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Doug,
nice
those
call.
are the Callier and Thompson phone lines at 314-974-0101.
Well, ours is the type of show where friends feel they can call in at any time.
Wow. Chairman Kurt taking heat. What a terrible call. Who screens these people?
That's one of the best calls we've had in a little bit.
It wasn't bad. I like to hear what people are doing their laundry.
And Martin, we got a rundown of the Blues and Winnipeg Jets from
that
17
just
days ago.
ended?
That's correct. And then kind of a look at the Cardinals.
I can't really make fun of it because Mike Francesa's breakdown of the Knicks' loss included a reference to the 1995 game. So just being a couple of weeks behind on Game 7, that's okay. He's got laundry to do. He's got a barge to work. I did want him to just kind of take a nap, rest up.
Sharon in Clayton says someone needs to tell him the exhaust from the barge smokestacks need to be pointed outside the cab.
How about that? Sharon in Clayton. Man, she knows all.
They're calling in. Now they're calling in.
Yeah, now they're ready. What do we got going on here?
Who's in the 2-hole, Tim?
Noah, like the Ark, on hold is what it says.
Good, yeah.
Noah, good morning. You're on with Doug Vaughn, 101 ESPN.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Noah.
What are we doing here, gents?
What do you mean?
I gotta say, I've been listening to this time slot since it was a time slot, and I can't tell if I'm disappointed or happy because I can't turn the radio off.
We can't do that. We can't. You can't.
Did you potty run off the air?
Yeah, it's kind of a one-strike policy on that.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in what he had to say.
I was too.
That
It was clearly a slip.
We'll put on QFTA.
Yeah,
Let's get his number. Noah, you're a guest on QFTA.
He couldn't get through the first sentence without dropping an F.
And I think he was
Kind
going
of
to
like
maybe...
me from 11 a.m. to 5:59.
I think he was struggling to kind of define this show and why he hates it, but he keeps listening.
That's kind of been a conundrum since July 2004 for many in the area. Guys, did that guy just dethrone me for the worst caller ever, Marty? That's from Pele Blanco, who called in, an entertaining texter who called in last week and
struggled.
Right.
No, Pele, you were worse.
Oh.
Chairman Kurtz.
And did Pele ask that about Noah, or was it a text just coming in about Barge Guy?
Because the texts are still coming in on Barge Guy's text, including Mark Hanna, who is the sponsor of the 9 o'clock hour, Evergreen Wealth Strategies, and he says, that call makes me proud to be a sponsor of this show.
That's right.
And now I need to know which call. guy who drops F-bomb while trying to break down the quality of the programming, or Barge Guy who is clearly intoxicated while doing laundry, which, be careful.
See, Jackson's now ranking the percentage of danger in parentheses. Eric on hold, but it's ranked 58% dangerous. Well, game theory dictates then, Doug, if it's likely that we're going to lose, then we can't play the hand. And that's just unfortunate. Maybe he can also join us on the Tim McKernan Show podcast, where you can say whatever the hell you want, profanity included.
Noah was going to rip us for having a bad show and couldn't get through one sentence without getting himself thrown off the air.
It's tough.
Well, he said he can't tell if he's unhappy with the caliber of the program. And then he unfortunately used a word that we cannot use on terrestrial radio.
You say you can't turn the dial.
Yeah.
That's a W. But I would like to hear reasoning.
Maybe call in during the break, Noah. So
Once
Maybe his phone's
it's
broken?
one strike. It's
well, I'm not saying on the air.
Oh, and talk with him?
Yeah.
You can email in, maybe, and in that way, if there is profanity, we can filter that. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. Mark Hanna, who's very proud to be a sponsor of the program, sponsor of the 9 o'clock
Never
hour.
more proud.
It is TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen, 101 ESPN. There you go, Doug.
Thank you. Now this is music. Some muted trumpets are nice.
Martin, not that Doug's ever in a dark place, but if he ever is, you put this on, and he's jovial as the day is long.
Don't you like this?
Was this 1943, Tim, or was this 42?
Boy, I would think it's in the 50s.
I think. Nice licorice stick.
It's the Marquette Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour here on TMA. Big hour for the phone lines. Big hour for the phone lines. Collier and Thompson, sponsor of those phone lines, 314-974-0101. And Darren wants to talk about the Cardinals. Doug, you were taking Cardinal calls this morning?
Absolutely,
All right, Darren,
Keep it clean.
You're on with Jackson Burkett.
Hey, guys. How are we doing?
No, we're fine, Darren.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Glad to hear it. So I think the Cardinals are in kind of a tough spot here because I think Mo doesn't care about appeasing the fans. That's pretty obvious. But the DeWitts do, right? Like, they have to keep the fans happy. So if they're competing towards the end of this thing, you can't go out and get pieces and trade away the future, right? Like, what do you do?
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
No, I think what pieces would you be willing to part? I think the number one question is your closer. Darren, what would you do with Ryan Helsley if there's a nice package being offered in the next month?
That's where the questions start and stop, I think, because once you make that decision, then you kind of determine your path. So that's a fair question. What would you do in that spot, Darren?
If I could, since the Phillies are out a closer, if I could get Andrew Painter for Ryan Helsley, I think that's a deal I make.
Yeah, I think they'd lose their minds in Philadelphia if they traded him for Helsley. I'd be really surprised. I don't feel like closers get that kind of return in this era of baseball. But, man, if they could make that move, I realize plenty of people in St. Louis would be pissed off, but I would love that move. So I'm with you there, Darren.
Absolutely. And then, with Nolan Arenado, what do you do with him? Do you trade him? I mean, Gorman doesn't look great. Does he need playing time? There's so many questions when it comes to the everyday lineup of this team, too, moving forward. It's crazy.
I'm not sure you're going to be able to move Arenado now. He comes with such a big paycheck, and that'd be the only reason the Cardinals really want to trade him is to get rid of the paycheck. And he's not performing well enough that any of the contending teams are going to want to trade you much for him for a guy that's maybe not a difference maker anymore.
Yeah.
Darren, I think this is a great call, but the text line wants you to get the buzzer. But Jackson, I asked for an addition. Would you mind, Darren, if instead of the buzzer you got the Elliot Davis ringtone?
That's not bad. Yeah, he seems eager to accept it.
No,
I appreciate that.
Did you feel that?
Can I get Sandstorm coming back sometime?
Sure.
Oh, it's South Carolina football. Jackson hates South Carolina football.
I don't like Shane Beamer. I have no real beef with the Gamecocks.
Okay.
All right, Darren. Well, hey, thank you for cleaning things up on this show.
Well, I do what I can, boys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Darren. That was Darren with a clean call.
It's a good call.
And he was getting bleached. He just did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong.
I always like trade proposal calls. Yeah, I think they're going to have Arenado for the whole season. Just my hunch.
Yeah.
Because who's going to take it on?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think they'll largely stand pat because they are kind of in that middle. He's right. DeWitts want to please the fans. And I think Mozeliak probably can't help it. It's human nature. Wouldn't mind having a decent final season. So you're not going to just unload. But I also don't think the market's there.
But what if there's a mid-season uptick of note? Not like
go out and
week
add
of power
something,
hitting.
you mean?
No, like Arenado starts hitting closer to what he did in 22 or 23.
Well, if they stay in contention, then it's going to be hard to trade him from that point of view.
Right. So that's right there is where you're getting your rock and hard plays.
I think they'll largely stand pat. But I think if you have an Arenado uptick, I think they're still open for business. Absolutely. Even though that might be unpopular.
But, I mean, if you're talking now, they stand pat. I mean, if this pace, and again, the pace is an 87.5 win pace. We talked about that in the previous segment. If you're at an 87.5 win pace, I would imagine that gets you into the playoffs. I feel pretty confident with that. I mean, you're not necessarily winning the Central, although I guess you could. But you're most likely in the playoffs if they keep that pace up. And we all were on the under. My thought process is it's going to be difficult to keep up that pace because I just don't see the starting pitching staying at the level that it's been. But if it does, what a windfall that would be. And then you would sit there and go, okay, well, now you got to look at it differently. When the time rolls around, let me put it this way. I'd be surprised if Ryan Helsley's a Cardinal in August. That's as direct as I can be. If I could bet that, I would bet he's not a Cardinal in August. Would you bet that? Do you agree with my wager?
I'm going to say he is.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to say they stay within striking distance the whole season and pretty much keep with the group they got.
Should I start a predictionary?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Predictionary getting fired up. It's been a minute since the balloon party we did.
I feel, what was the thing I lost a few $100s to listeners on? I can't. Oh, Nolan Arenado being a Cardinal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd make that play again 100 times out of 100. Yeah, Helsley not being a Cardinal. This is more the Arenado one was based on some information. This one is speculative, so you got better chance to win here, even though the Arenado one won.
So we'll call it post deadline.
Yeah.
All right. Tim, yes. Doug, no. Or Tim, no. Doug and Martin, yes.
That Helsley is a Cardinal in August, right. Post deadline. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. You boys want a wager? Huh? Would you like the
gift
wager?
Cards?
I'm happy to give cards.
I don't have any gift cards to bet.
That's okay.
I got a Dairy Queen gift card.
You just need the physical card.
It doesn't have to have a balance.
No. If Helsley is a Cardinal in August, it's because we got hot and are going to win the baby. That's from the Raphael Archangel.
Well, that's probably true. Or at least contend for the baby.
Shane Beamer needs to take a walk off a bridge. Thanks, 314.
A little much, but I don't like Shane Beamer that much.
Graceffo's being groomed to be the closer, and Helsley will be traded during the season. That's from the St. Charles Illini.
Well, it's certainly possible, but right now, the way things are going, I don't think that would be necessarily at the top of their wish list to deal Helsley.
Well, you've talked about it yourself. The shelf life for closers is a tight window.
I know.
And to capitalize on it now, especially if there's someone who really would put together a nice package. You know?
And Helsley debuted in 19, I want to say. So he's been with the squad a while.
I propose trading Jackson for Tanner. That's from the 314.
Oh.
Jackson, you would go to BK and Ferrario, and Tanner, Doug, you call him T-Diddy.
T-Diddy.
Would come in here.
I like hanging out with you guys, though.
Oh, my gosh, right there. That was the most emotional moment in this show's history.
You could sleep in a little later. And they don't go
but then
4
that
hours.
would really curtail golfing in the afternoon.
Well, you're working in the morning.
Hanging over your head work. You couldn't do that. That's you're kind of no man's land there.
So you're going to use your no trade clause and.
Oh yeah, you do have no trade.
No movement clause.
Yeah, no movement.
And the player option.
If Arenado remains a Cardinal this year and we win the World Series, will Nato not being traded be the biggest sliding door moment in Cardinal history? That's from the 314.
Probably not in Cardinal history. I think it is possible that a team completely shifts its focus after a couple months of surprisingly good baseball. They go from a reset or whatever you want to call it to, wait a minute, maybe we got a group right now that can contend. I think that's kind of what's going on.
Season 2024, sitting this one out.
That was kind of the plan.
That was the
wasn't the
offseason.
plan, but that's what happened. And I'm sure they probably weren't very, very happy that that's the way it played out. And now when they see everybody play and they look like a contender, they're going, oh, my Lord, what's happened here? Let's ride with it. I would think. You're not going to break it up now, are you?
Not right now, no.
Well, what would you consider when you say break it up?
Oh, if they could deal Arenado and Helsley and Fetty or somebody like that, I think that'd be crazy to do that right now.
The nice thing, though, is they don't have to do that unless a team like the Phillies started going, holy crap, we had games won, and our bullpen now with the Alvarado situation's costing us games. We can't risk falling this far out of contention. We've got a great lineup. We have some starters. Nola's on the IL right now, but we've dealt with some injuries. We've got to tend to this. Let's get Helsley over here ASAP. The good news for the Cardinals is, barring a big surprise, they're not going to have to make a decision for a little while, so they'll get some more information on it.
I'm not sure how desperate the Phillies are. They got the best record in the league.
Well, they're going
6 in a row.
They're going through a nice tour of consecutive series with the Pirates, Rockies, and Athletics.
That'll help any hungry man.
Get right. So, but I mean, they beat the Pirates 1-0, so they've won a couple close games here recently.
Doug, you can combine the Pirates wins and the Rockies wins, and you still don't have as many wins as the Cardinals. Hello again, everybody.
Yeah, W.
Which then leads to this column in The Athletic, which I really enjoy. Andy McCullough. Which MLB teams are actually trying? Just coming out, as a matter of fact, here within the last 24 hours. In the eyes of Major League Baseball executives, money alone cannot guarantee you the World Series. To capture a title requires execution, determination, and perhaps most of all, good fortune. The baseball postseason can be a crapshoot, especially in its recently expanded format. What money does provide, executives on both sides of MLB's payroll divide will tell you, is more opportunities to win it all. If October is a lottery, spending helps produce more tickets. The correlation between spending and winning is obvious. A team with a top 10 payroll has won 5 of the past 6 championships. The outcome last October made the sports disparity appear even starker. The most recent World Series pitted the team with the sport's largest competitive balanced tax payroll, the Dodgers, against the team ranked 3rd on the list, the Yankees. And the second-place team, the Mets, lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS. So then that gets us to the teams that are actually trying, and there is a large gap. Doug, there is a graph that they have laid out in this article by Andy McCullough in The Athletic, and they name the teams that are trying, the teams that are overachievers, the teams that are stuck in the middle, and then the teams that are in the basement. And then they have winning percentage and payroll on the, do you mind if I say X and Y axis?
I don't care for it, no.
Which teams would you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, are considered not to be trying? And amazingly, their winning percentage reflects that.
No.
Name the 7 teams that the Athletics research says are actually not trying.
Well, I don't like his phrase trying. Maybe not very good at it or don't have the money to contend. I think they're all trying. I think everybody tries. I don't think anybody goes in and saying, we don't care. I don't think they do. I don't think
the Pirates aren't doing a real good job of carrying and executing over the last 2 decades.
They don't have the money. They don't have the money to keep the good players.
Well, they make money at the end of the year because they get subsidized by the league.
I think they've got guys trying who just aren't very good.
I think the players. Okay, the players are trying, but I think there's a difference. The players on the field, of course, are trying. But is the organization really trying?
Well, I don't think the general manager shows up for work and says, I don't care what happens.
No, but the only person...
my job, I don't care.
Why does the manager sound like Sam Elliott?
Well, because that's who they hired.
Got it, like a mustache like his.
Clip that off.
But the only person...
Get sidetracked.
Rockies, White Sox, Marlins, A's.
Yes, I got to tell you, for the record, by the way, the graph is reflected as an average year-end competitive balance tax payroll and aggregate regular season winning percentage for each MLB team with the 2022 through 2025 seasons. So it's not just reflective of the essentially first 50 games of the 2025 season.
Because Baltimore is a last-place team this year, and they're certainly trying.
So Baltimore is in the category, they had 4 different categories: powerhouses, overachievers, the middle, and the basement.
They're in the
Baltimore
middle.
is in the overachievers because you got to factor back the previous years.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
That's the reason why. And they had all those young draft picks, and a lot of them came to fruition. But they still just haven't really been effective in tending to the pitching. This year, it's a mess.
Would the Reds be not trying?
The Reds are in the middle.
Yeah,
Doug, you were rattling off all the teams that are not trying. dubbed the basement. So for the record, Martin, you were right. But it was the A's, Pirates, Marlins, Royals, Natitude, Nationals, and the White Sox, and the Rockies.
So the Royals were in the not trying?
Yes.
Because last year they added on
the Royals are 5 games over 500.
The Royals had I think the Royals model, which kind of odd, because if you looked at the last, going back to 85, minus a handful of years, it's been a disaster over there. But what they were able to do would be, I think the Cardinals would love to be able to replicate within the realm of reality in the current MLB economic structure, and that is have players come up in the system and then where you have some holes, plug those in the free agent market, but you're not going to be able to plug them with whomever you would want to use as an example of a monster contract, the most recent being Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani. That isn't going to happen. But they were able to go out and in 2024 get Waka and Seth Lugo, and that really helped boost them. But they had a lot of homegrown guys, the most obvious one being Bobby Witt. By the way, the Angels are in their own category, and they're the only ones in the category.
They try, but they're bad.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that what it is?
That's correct. Their payroll is up there, but their winning percentage is down there with the teams that are not trying. The middle would be the Cardinals, the Reds, the Tigers, the Twins, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Cubs, the Red Sox, and the Rangers, and the Blue Jays. So in those cases of the Cubs, Giants, Red Sox, and Blue Jays, they have spent, but their winning percentage puts them in the same category of the range of the Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Twins, Tigers, and Reds. The overachievers, Jackson, I'm going to turn to you for the overachievers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be considered overachievers. So these are teams that didn't spend, but have had success in the seasons of 2022, 2025. 5 teams. Go.
Braves.
No.
Tampa Bay.
Correct. Martin, why don't you just take it and run with it? You're having a big segment. Doug had a big 8 o'clock hour. This is your 9 o'clock hour.
Cleveland.
That's correct.
This is like I took one 15-foot jumper and got pulled.
That's exactly right. It's the Norm Stewart era out here.
I schooled you. Now you're back in there. Keon Dooling, get back out there.
Yeah, it's your time.
Go ahead.
He didn't do the job. It wasn't anything I did wrong. He didn't do the job.
That's right.
All right.
I heard Angels and had to.
Tampa Bay and Cleveland.
Tampa Bay and Cleveland, 3 other teams. I already gave you the Orioles, so I got
Twins?
that. Twins are not one of them. They're in the upper echelon of the middle, though.
You know what's really messed up is I was looking at this exact graph about 3 minutes ago.
Oh, and
I can't remember
Would
one
Milwaukee
team.
be?
Milwaukee, and now you got one more. I don't think you're going to get it. It might
Arizona?
surprise you. No, Arizona was already listed in the middle.
Is it a surprise be like a Houston or somebody that's good, but
Houston is in the powerhouses
All
with
right,
the Braves,
Seattle, maybe?
Phillies. Seattle, nicely done. Tip of the cap.
Okay.
The powerhouses, again, these are the franchises that are both spending and winning. That would be the Astros, the Braves, the Padres, the Phillies, the Yankees, Dodgers, and Mets. So that is how they break it down. In other words, you've got teams that are actually spending money and then they're having success, and then you have teams that are not spending money, and it is reflected in what they have done with essentially approximately an 800-game sample size.
Where the Cardinals are concerned, they've recently had a massive drop in revenue between the TV package and the attendance, a massive drop in revenue. So they can't spend right now to keep up with the big boys. They just can't. Doesn't mean they're not trying. It means they just don't have the money that the bigger market clubs have.
This is what they wrote specifically about the middle where the Cardinals are in. Herein reside some of sports' most frustrated fan bases. This group contains some of baseball's most venerated franchises, the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Cardinals. They aren't rebuilding, but they aren't exactly operating, as Boston chairman Tom Werner infamously declared heading into the 2024 season, quote, at full throttle. These teams are good enough to avoid last place finishes, but haven't developed talent like the overachievers have and don't spend as the powerhouses do. Still, sometimes this group buys just enough lottery tickets. The Texas Rangers won the World Series in 2023. The Tigers are off to a rip-roaring start in 2025. Yeah, I would say, I think that's a nice description of what it was, specific to the Angels, by the way. It may be unfair to single out the Angels, but, well, look at the plot. The franchise stands alone. No team in recent memory has spent more and achieved less. The team's last postseason appearance came in 2014. The club wasted the prime of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, let him depart in free agency, and its own expenditures have proved disastrous. Anthony Rendon has 3.9 wins above replacement, according to Baseball Reference, during the first 5 seasons of his 7-year, $245 million deal, and he may not take another at bat. Owner Artie Moreno regularly permits his executives to spend, although the club tends to avoid going over the luxury tax. That relative largeness has led to little winning, which makes the club an anomaly in the era.
I like that they have their own category.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's certainly not a team that didn't try. They just messed it up.
Yeah.
They just made a series of really horrible decisions.
And I'm telling you, and I don't think by any means I'm alone in this, but the moment they went out and signed Pujols and Hamilton following the 2011 season and didn't have any pitching, you're going, what are you doing? It's like guy on social media who, manages a team and just go, oh, this will get people excited. Well, that's great for a little while, but then inevitably you're not going to win. I think they signed C.J. Wilson.
I was going to say they did get C.J. Wilson.
But I mean, C.J. Wilson wasn't like some dominant guy. It's just like, what are you doing? So they've done it to themselves. I guess good for spending money, I guess, if that's your gauge, but you spend it poorly. And that's kind of my thing with the Cardinals. I don't feel like it's necessarily been a case of hoarding money so much as it's been spending poorly. I'd be curious what the Cardinals would look like if you go 16, 17, 18 and see about spending versus performance. If they used the same graph, because the Cardinals were spending then.
Like the Fowler, Mike Leake era.
Brett Cecil. You had some, I don't know if Miller would fall into that category at the time.
The Matt Carpenter extension was weird.
That's exactly right. The Cardinals were lighting money on fire. They were doing their Angels tribute band then. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646. You can talk it over in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. The program is called TMA. It's presented by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN. this Mills Brothers?
It's your
This is
starting
not the Mills Brothers.
Your starting center fielder.
Was last seen laying like a cadaver? Front of the plate. I tell you, we had more trade proposals.
Nice.
I'd like to trade Martin for Joey Vitale.
Wow.
Oh.
I don't.
We're doing sports talk radio trades.
That's from Who's Your Daddy. I'd like to trade Martin for Joey Vitale. I think you're asking a lot there. I think that's a little lopsided deal getting Vitale in here. Mr. Siders, shockingly, trade Martin and Jackson.
Oh, package deal.
For Jamie or Marshy. So I guess it's a 2-for-1. Okay.
So you got to do afternoons.
Jamie
How
or
would that work
Marshy?
for the two, Fox? Probably problematic.
Hey, whatever it takes for journalism. Whatever it takes to please Siders. That's what I say every day.
Agreed.
We'll take your trade proposals.
Send your trade proposals in 314-399-9646. Then you got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. That's youtube.com/TMASTL. And that's where you can get involved on the program. Jackson has fun with audio, and I did not hear this. Charles Barkley? What do we got going on here?
So he was trying to pronounce the name of Nikhil Walker-Alexander, who is a player for the Timberwolves, and also Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin, the MVP of 2024-25.
And they handed that out just in the middle of the conference final.
Yeah, odd,
weird.
but it's what they do. What they do. This is
what they do.
Wow, dust me off.
I didn't mean to. This is Chuck trying to pronounce the young man's name. Doesn't go great.
Shea's cousin, McKeel Anderson, whatever his name is, Alexander.
Nikhil Alexander.
I mean, it's all hands on deck, man. It's all hands on deck against OKC.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Listen, he was just, what's his name? He was laughing
Mikhail Alexander.
at your attempt.
What is it? Hey, man. What is it? Nikhil.
Alexander.
Nikhil. Is his real name Nikhil?
Yeah. No, his fake name's Nikhil.
Boy, somebody just made up some stuff again. Nikhil is not a name. They named him after a coin. Come on, man.
Nikhil.
They named the brother after a coin, Shaq.
Nickel, but they just made a pass.
Just spelled it wrong.
Nikhil.
Hey, how much money you got? A nickel?
20 Nikhil.
Oh, God. 2 dribbles and a dunk.
I liked it. I was at the bite was whatever it was. I was just waiting. Like we're gonna go chain netting again. No.
Yesterday around 5 o'clock. This is kind of a tradition in mid to late May, where ESPN has sources reporting who the NBA's MVP will be, and that goes on for a few hours, and then TNT gets it, and that's what was going on yesterday. ESPN front page.
Yeah.
Was reading the Cardinal game story, and I'm like, sources are reporting that SGA has won the
as opposed to
MVP.
The NBA will announce it. It's not like you have to float. I saw Shams tweet it, and that's like, all right, it's in there. But I mean, everyone kind of knew that he was going to win it.
Oh yes, Martin, please me. That's from Mr. Siders.
Martin.
Well, I'll be walking out the door in less than 20 minutes, so you got that going for you, Siders.
Yeah. Mr. Siders, very active in there. 314-399-9646 is where you can go to share your thoughts, as many do throughout the course of the program. James Carlton, longtime sponsor here on TMA, and has 424 5-star reviews at Google. When you type his name in, you see why people rave about their insurance agent. Number one, James' office is fully staffed with agents to make sure that anytime you are in need, and if you're calling your insurance agent, you're probably in need with home, with life, with auto insurance, 314-961-4800, that somebody is there and they can tend to it right away. I think for a lot of people, you get in a spot where you might email or leave a voicemail for your insurance agent, and it's just kind of standard operating procedure that you're going to hear back in 2 to 3 days. That's just not the way that it has to be. You want an answer right away, you can get an answer right away. You call there right now, you're going to get the answer right away, 314-961-4800. And because of that staff, they're able to be proactive with their clients to find ways to save them money. So many TMA listeners over the years have made the switch to James Carlton. Carlton. They go, I didn't realize how much they could save me. So that one phone call to James Carlton can save you so much money. Why not do it? You have nothing to lose. If you don't like it, fine. Stay with who you got. But why not give it a shot? 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. This story had been making the rounds. She had not issued a statement. Now she has. Former Missouri basketball player Sophie Cunningham, and she is on the Twitter tweets at SoFaller, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's that mean?
What was that?
What does her name on Twitter mean?
Oh, it's a play on baller.
So she's a baller named Sophie, so she's SoFaller.
SoFaller.
I thought you were answering Doug's question, but then you immediately turned with a, what's that?
Oh,
I thought you turned to him to answer.
That's correct.
The end of the 9 o'clock hour can get spacey.
Oh, is that right?
Oh.
Is that when it wears off?
Yeah, but sometimes it gets a second wind.
A little bump in the break. Allegations were out there in this lawsuit that she had an affair with, I don't believe the owner, but the CEO.
I thought it was the CEO.
Of the Suns.
That's what, being alleged.
And that's the reason she was traded to Indiana. And Sophie Cunningham, former Missouri star, I think just was put into the Missouri Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken, issued this statement yesterday. I am deeply saddened by the recent false accusations made against me by Gene Traylor, someone I do not know and have never met. Let me be clear, his statements are untrue and extremely hurtful. I am here to compete, play basketball at the highest level, and win for my team and my fans while inspiring other women that they can do or be anything they ever dream of becoming. I hold myself to the highest integrity, and my values are what guide me on and off the court. To the media who reported on this, I have always spoken the truth and have been transparent with any press inquiry. In this instance, it feels irresponsible that I was never asked for a comment about the accusation before several clickbait stories went to print. I will not let untrue gossip take my focus away from what is most important to me, which is basketball, my supportive team, and my fans. That's Sophie Cunningham in response to what was circulating on social media over the last couple of days. And I do think it's of note that she says she was never contacted for her response. And Doug, another wonderful moment for the industry we choose.
Man, social media out of control again also, right?
Yeah.
Spreading it like wildfire.
But her rebuke response was very specific. I like that.
Oh.
Directly taking on the allegations. Cleaning it up.
Yeah. So Sophie Cunningham, and I would imagine a good number of people have seen that, and she is specific in her refuting the allegations that were just kind of mentioned in passing in this lawsuit that has nothing to do with her. It's a fallout in the business partnership, and then that got thrown in that the reason she was traded from Phoenix to Indiana is because of this alleged affair, and she is specific in saying that is not the case. 9:54 in St. Louis. The program is called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. We are in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour. You're listening to 101 ESPN and watching the TMA STL YouTube channel.
TMA is brought to you by St. Louis-based Stifel, a leading wealth management and investment banking firm. Stifel is the firm where success meets success and has been since 1890 with financial advisors in 12 offices across the region. Stifel helps clients right here in St. Louis and nationwide manage their hard-earned wealth. Stifel also provides banking, lending, and trust services and has a full-service investment bank. Basically, when it comes to finance, Stifel has you covered. They've also got you covered if you're playing in the Dotem Open next this week because they are offering 2 weekly grounds tickets to the winning teams, everyone on the winning team, at the Dotem. If you're playing Thursday or Friday and your Scramble team wins a tournament, you get weekly grounds tickets. Very nice for Stiefel to donate that. The Stiefel Charity Classic coming up September 4th and September 7th. That's Stiefel, where success meets success. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Stanley Cup playoffs last evening. The Stars defeat the Oilers 6-3 with 5 unanswered third-period goals. If you're looking to watch or listen to more hockey action this evening, Hurricanes-Panthers, Game 2, right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starting at 6:30. Puck drops at 7. That was another Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Well, that was my theme song. Does this make you think of me, Doug?
It really does.
Seriously?
Yeah. Every time I hear it, I think of you.
Nice. I like that.
Tim, you wanted UFL ratings? The most watched game of the season was the DC Defenders and the Arlington Renegades over the weekend.
Not possible.
1.2 million in the second half alone. It peaked at 1.3 million, averaged 973,000. I only bring that up because I'm always grooming you guys.
Yes, you are.
Jackson is with his Lee's Chicken because Battlehawks fans want to, will the league survive? And I think the key is always going to be about the TV money.
I see the UFL has approved a new collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association through next year. Through 2026. So
I think the
sounds like
ratings.
they got one more year,
I think because the ratings are pretty good there, I think you'll have more chicken next year, Jackson. There you go. And that will conclude the UFL ratings update.
Doug, now you know your UFL.
They got 1 million viewers, Renegades. And,
the new collective
Defenders.
bargaining agreement means the minimum salary goes from $55,000 to $62,005. How would you get put the $5 on
What
the
happened there?
The players held out for just a little bit more.
We've got an ESPN anchor shutting it down after 25 years. He's a guy that I see. It's nothing against him. I just prefer Scott Van Pelt when I'm watching Sports Center in the morning. Stan Verrett, Martin.
Oh, he was out at L.A. for a while, right?
That's right. 25 years. He is shutting it down at the end of the summer after 25 years.
They sent him and Neil Everett because you had Verrett and Everett. You liked Neil.
Neil Everett, Stan Verrett were like every single morning in my childhood.
Really?
Every single
Neil
morning.
is the guy out on Kim Just Yell.
I thought they were always great, but I was a kid. You know, what do I know?
From the New York Post, the journalism industry looks nothing like it did when Stan Verrett joined ESPN some 25 years ago. Seeing that evolution in the industry factored into why the longtime SportsCenter anchor host is saying goodbye to the worldwide leader. Quote, "Our business has changed greatly since I got in. It's time that I changed along with it," Verrett posted on X on Tuesday night. "Fortunately, there is some tremendous opportunities to do that while remaining in my adopted hometown, Los Angeles, which I love. Stay tuned." Verrett and ESPN are splitting ways after a strong run together, with Front Office Sports reporting that the network is not renewing his contract when it expires this summer. The 59-year-old began with ESPN and has served as a late-night host for the popular SportsCenter program, which has also changed over the 2+ decades he has been with the network. He's been in the 1 a.m. slot since 2009 and primarily worked with Neil Everett before he left the network in 2023. It seems one factor in the decision comes from him being located in L.A., while the network is planning to stop hosting a SportsCenter show in L.A. and instead center in Bristol, Connecticut. "My life is in Los Angeles now," Verrett posted on X on Wednesday after the report emerged. "Nothing but gratitude for 25 years of living a dream at ESPN. I'm not retiring. Really excited about the future and some incredible opportunities." Verrett's indicated he's received positive feedback about his pending departure. "I'm overwhelmed by all of your comments. It's really touching. Working in a studio doesn't allow for interaction with viewers, but I'm flattered to know so many of you tuned in and enjoyed my work. It's why I did it. Sincerely, thank you all." So there you go. Stan Verrett, 25 years.
That's a nice long run at the network level.
You better believe it.
And he's probably got a good job lined up somewhere in an L.A. station, or a lot of things to do out there. It doesn't sound like he's ready to shut it down. And at only 59, I can see why he wouldn't be ready to shut it down.
Shutting down the L.A. off. I didn't understand why. Because if you're watching at home, it's just people in a studio.
Yeah.
For the most part, I never quite understood.
I agree with you. I didn't understand what that was about.
I mean,
That was
other
added
than
expense.
like marketing and saying, "Hey, they're in L.A., so when they're up late, the games are happening. It's fresh to them." who cares if the guy in Bristol is up at 1 a.m.
Unless you're doing it on the Santa Monica Pier, what's the difference?
I didn't understand that.
Well, they're getting rid of it, and he's an LA guy, so he's not moving with them when they put everybody back in Bristol. But I share that with you. I didn't understand why that was a big deal. I don't know. I think there were, Doug, what do you call them, halcyon days or salad days?
I like halcyon. It's hard to spell.
When ESPN was printing money, and what can we do now to add on to it? And that was one of those things that now, with the revenue down substantially relative to those halcyon days,
I say salad days.
You cut that, and that's an easy cut to make that most likely has zero impact from a revenue standpoint on your P&L.
Our guy, Tyler Fulgham, local guy who got the job with ESPN Vegas. It was called, it's all betting related.
Yeah.
So it made sense. That one, sort of made sense. Hey, we're based in Vegas. We're a gambling show. And after about 2 years, they said, yeah, we're going to need you to move to Bristol.
Yeah, come back.
It's like,
he had to go from Vegas to Bristol? I didn't know that. So he's in Bristol now?
That enterprise for ESPN also shifted Vegas to Bristol.
So has he relocated?
Yeah, because one of the last times I did a hit with him, and I said, hey, join us, the guy, Mr. Vegas. He said, are we recording? Are we live? He said, I should point out, I don't live in Vegas. I said, oh, well.
You lost?
Nobody. And he was, of course, loves his job, but said, yeah, it's a little different now than location was.
That's a big loss. They have to move from Vegas to Bristol, Connecticut.
Yeah, and I don't know if they accommodated the cost of living adjustment in the salaries for those. I mean, LA is one thing, but if you're living in Vegas and going to Connecticut, that's going to cost you some more money.
Well, ESPN backed up the Brinks truck for Pat McAfee and paid him millions and millions. I wonder if this is part of the ripple effect of that. It's got to affect their budget up and down the business.
Yeah, but I think it's more a signal of where they're trying to focus in on, much more long-form kind of hangout sports show as opposed to a more classic magazine-style show.
Classic magazine style.
Isn't that what they call something like SportsCenter, be like a magazine show?
I don't think so. That's more
Again,
of a
not
news
classically
show.
trained.
No.
A magazine show would be longer
60 minutes,
interviews.
real sport.
Yeah, nice.
Longer
magazine
form.
show.
Okay, cool.
Texter said it was specifically to nuzzle up to the Lakers. It was attached to Staples, meaning ESPN LA.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you'd make a move like that just for the Lakers? I just think the LA market, maybe they were trying to just own that
Steve
demo.
Nash did just get traded there at that time.
Yeah, remember that?
Captain Canada. Or is that Kirk Heinrich? Both Canadian.
969.
Well, Nash was, a two-time MVP. If anybody's going to be Captain Canada, it was probably him.
It was Captain Kirk play on Star Trek for Kirk Heinrich. They were both Captain Canada. Steve Nash could really play.
Yeah. By the time we got around to that.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Martin, you've overstayed your welcome. Is that a tribute to Mr. Siders?
Yeah, I just wanted to poke the bear a little bit, extending my stay.
Martin has onboarding. We will have the full roster here, right? You're off next Friday, am I right?
Next Friday, yeah.
Back to the lake. In search of the bunkers.
No, my buddy's getting married. I'm in the wedding, so.
Where does he get married?
Where? St. Louis, St. Gabe's, matter of fact.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Just as a tribute to Tim?
That's right. And it's going to be a great time.
Nice.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
You got to get a tux?
I rented the suit. Not tux,
I think we've
but
talked
suit.
big tux before, on air, off air. Little pricey, big tux.
You're better off buying one.
But that, yeah, and truly yes. But then again, it's like I have a suit, but I don't have a certain color suit. It's a whole thing.
This conversation is boring and irrelevant. That's some big tough.
Stop it, tough.
Says who?
Which part?
Yeah.
Take your pick. You've got 190 minutes to choose from.
Yeah, what's beef?
What's the beef?
I don't get it. There's a couple guys hanging out.
Do you get
just
to bring,
chopping it up?
Yeah, that's right. Do you get to bring a date, or do all of your friends work in the golf course sciences? That's from Arbor Day.
That's a good one. Yes, my girlfriend will be attending with me.
How about that?
Oh, that'll be great.
Really?
That'll be a lot of fun.
Has she ever experienced St. Gabriel's?
No. Not to my knowledge.
Is she intimidated?
Yeah, exactly. Is she nervous?
I think it's one of those things like when you are like, seeing the works of Michelangelo, like you're not necessarily like exclaiming like, oh, wow. You're just kind of like your breath's taken away. You stand there in awe. It's an out of body experience.
Do you want me to get Cal Kennedy or one of his associates to give you a tour of the gym? And you can go through each one of the banners.
Take some pictures with the banners.
I've been, we did a couple of trivia nights there.
Yeah, but your significant other hasn't seen it.
Right. It's true. Yeah, maybe I could knock down like a corner 3. And
right from where I did.
Yeah. Tim zone.
Honey, you want to get a picture next to the city county wiffle ball champions?
Yeah. Doug, what kind of, they have a Parcheesi, Go Fish?
Parcheesi banners up there, yeah.
Martin, there was a chess banner, and Doug capitalized on that in a major way.
Some fourth graders played chess and won the event. And
Chutes and Ladders, regional champions.
Chin rummy.
Euchre, county champs.
Oh, wow. Jackson's going to a wedding again. How exciting. That's from the 314.
27 years old. This is what happens.
It's your bailiwick.
27 years old in the summertime. That's what most weekends or every other weekend is. Doug, can your son speak to that? Absolutely.
Yes. He had to go to so many weddings buying a tux. They wanted different tuxes. So he had to buy like 3 or 4 different tuxes. Gave one of them to me.
Oh,
now
nice.
I have a tux, and it fits.
Nice.
What color? Just the classic black?
Sure.
Nice. Can we wear that in one day? I'll wear a suit, you wear a suit.
Wear that to be the official.
I'm sure he has some other
Blouse's
card.
wedding.
Yeah. Oh, don't bring that up.
Give it a game show feel.
Bring that up. All right, Martin, enjoy onboarding. We'll be back here with the 10 o'clock hour, which includes the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. It's TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan here with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. And I know, man, I'm telling you, I see a lot of listings sent my way at this time of year. And a lot of people, I'm sure, are thinking about buying a home. You can call Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. That is his personal cell phone. You can Google the bagel loan. Stewie, if somebody was looking to buy a house, a lot of listings out there, how much money would they need to put down?
You know what, Tim? This is a very big misconception. We just interviewed a couple different customers coming in, and they thought that you have to put down 20% in order to buy it. They don't have that kind of money. Wrong. First-time home buyers, 3% down. That's all you need is 3%. We pay all the closing costs for you, so all you got to come up with is the 3%. Plus, you got to come up with a little bit of insurance money for the house. So altogether, $400,000 house, you need about $15,000, $16,000. That money can be gifted funds. That money could be cash in the bank. It could be money that you pawned your motorcycle for. It doesn't matter. 3% down. So don't walk around and think you can't buy a house because you don't have a down payment. It's really easy to get. You can even do your tax refund. Some people have gotten that money to use that for. So many different options. Get the home of your dreams today. You don't need a lot of money, and it's cheaper than paying rent.
And call Stewie directly on his personal cell phone at 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a great day, guys.
else? Doug, I've got the, guess it's announced now. FanDuel, the sponsor of the Spread Zone podcast with Riz, Anthony Stalter, and myself. And we're recording at 11 o'clock in the Hubbard Digital Studios with just a world-class studio that they built. Looks really good on YouTube and social media. And I gotta give you an Indianapolis 500 pick. So I've actually been reading up on the Indianapolis 500. I need to text that Chuckles Marlowe. That's what I need to do since he's auto racing wizard. But I've been looking up the lines on it. So if anybody somehow out there is an auto racing wizard, I will take your plays. I brought this up yesterday, and a bunch of people texted in. Some of the listeners were heading to the Indy 500 themselves.
I hear it's an absolute pony.
Is that right?
It's I think it's the most attended sporting event in America every year, and it holds so many people.
Yeah.
I think it holds like a quarter of a million people.
They sold out the grandstand for the first time in like 9 years, and they're looking for, I think it's 350,000 people.
It's unbelievable.
Where would you park?
They have a permanent seating capacity of 257,000, but it can exceed up to 350,000, making it the largest spectator sporting facility in the world, not just America, in the world.
This was sent in at 8:56. Holy yes, this show sucks.
Hey.
And then at 10:19, holy yes, this show sucks. They were sent in about an hour and 40.
Blocking. Who was it?
That's just the 913.
913, you just got yourself suspended. We're working on the blocking, and you also will receive a 45% tariff.
Oh, my goodness.
What'd you say, the zip code, the area code?
913. That's usually Rock Chalk Jayhawk country.
Okay, and suspended a period of 2 days' time.
New Garden, three-peat. Book it, Tim. That's from Moist to Salou, possible burner.
Yeah, the Fast Lane had them on like 2 weeks ago.
He's plus 800 to win.
Seems like a cool guy. He was in that commercial with Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Put the bankroll on Scotty McLaughlin. He's plus 1,000.
Indy 500, you drink a bunch of milk after winning, correct? That's the
winner
signature.
Drinks a bottle of milk.
I like that.
What's more important, the driver or the mechanic?
Probably the driver. You have to be really strong to do that. And
strong?
Yeah. When you're driving that fast, to turn and have reactions like that, all those drivers are in great shape.
Well, I don't doubt they're in great shape. I didn't know it took a lot of strength to do it.
Probably more so reaction time and stuff, but you also you have to be really strong. Like, and not to mention it's hot and you're in that suit. Yeah. It's a lot of toll on your body. Not to discredit the mechanics.
Yeah. Not sure why you guys give so much time to Sharon from Dupo. She does nothing to enhance this program. Keep reading text from the Warson Woods Wacko. More talk about shooting fish and less about Sharon from Dupo's weight. That's from Berg the Blob.
Oh, gosh.
Sharon from Dupo is really funny. They raised the roof over
She
there.
She actually lives in Dupo, but says she lives in Clayton?
Well, they raised the roof.
Hey, Tim, you may want to check out that ESPN YouTube chat if you're looking for NASCAR takes. That's from Big Tuft.
This is Indy 500.
Yeah, I don't go over to the 101 ESPN YouTube chat. Maybe I'll go over there. And they're pretty supportive over there, I understand.
A recommended viewing, it literally takes 1.5 seconds, is watching an F1 pit stop. It's unbelievable. They do it in 1.3 seconds.
I kind of get the sense that if I watch that F1 Netflix show that I'd get into it.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's cool.
You're into it.
I've seen some episodes of that, and the way they do the show is like outstanding. Like, I don't know if I would watch a full race, but the show is quite interesting. And I truly watch how the pit stop works. It's 1.5, 2 seconds long. It's crazy. Crazy. And they replace all 4 tires. It's nuts.
The engineer is way more important than the driver. Everyone can drive an effing car. God. It's from Harrison's brother, Master.
I want to know that I don't know, but I would just assume.
Yes, Chairman.
I dropped into the 101 YouTube chat.
They have any picks for me for the Indy 500 FanDuel spread zone?
Josh Stevens said, I deliver mail. Does that count as working out?
Okay.
Nothing there. I refill cream donuts. Was he driving that Mexican ship in New York? It's probably at the barge guy.
Crashed in. Is it the Brooklyn Bridge it crashed into? I think it was. Yeah. 2 people passed on that.
Yeah.
And 34 Salon says, didn't have the over on F-bombs at 0.5 today. Damn it. that's all that's going on in there.
All right, there it is. The TMA YouTube chat is where it's at. Again, that's where DJ Patty Cake's talking to the Huntley hot wife Hunter, and old Monty Kessler, and Iggy says to take AJ Foyt.
Oh, he was great, yeah. I don't know that he's still alive or he's driven in the last 30 years, but he was king of the hill there for a while.
And Andretti involved in the race? Or often was.
Yeah, he was referenced in an Amy Grant song. Am I right on that?
Eddie Grant? We played Electric Avenue.
No, Amy Grant. Okay. Is that Amy Grant good to you?
Amy Grant good.
She did Baby, Baby,
Love?
Baby.
Oh,
she
really?
also did she do a duet with Peter Cetera in like 80? I'm gonna say 88 to get me 87 and 89, but I feel like 86 is live, so only allocate maybe like 1% of your bankroll on this.
That would be The Next Time I Fall, 1986.
God, I knew it too.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
Mets celebration song.
The upcoming Brad Pitt F1 movie is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where Dupo is. That's Sharon and Clayton, who does not like.
Why do you hate Illinois Route 3?
What's the ratio of weddings that invite Jackson to being a date versus those that request him leaving loved ones at home so that the wedding party can be thrown in an MTV-style cauldron of infidelity?
Oh, get out of here.
Arbor Day. That's what you're doing in Cape Cod? You're in an MTV-style of cauldron of infidelity?
Before I answer that nonsense, I do want to shout out Arbor Day. He put a lot of time and work into those texts, and they're great, and that's why you're the Texter of the Year often. No, that's nonsense. So, listen, sometimes you get an invite with the +1, sometimes you don't.
That's right.
Not the world's biggest deal. Especially one where it's a small wedding. It's not in St. Louis.
Do you know Sweet Sweet Kai's fiance's girlfriends are going to be in the house with you?
Boy. Yes. But I think all of them are either married or betrothed.
Are their husbands going to be there?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. I'm not positive. I haven't gotten a manifest, but...
Don't say manifest. Don't
I
say
haven't gotten a manifest.
No,
what does that mean?
No.
I haven't gotten a manifest.
Is that like a schedule?
No, like on an airplane, like all the passengers, it's called a manifest.
Oh, is that right?
Okay. Yeah. 250 souls in the manifest.
So the husbands will be there.
I assume.
In a giant cauldron?
Of infidelity.
No. It'll just be like, shellfish and hanging out.
Okay. Maybe you have a clam bake.
Yeah. Not really into...
The Bing Crosby?
Mm-hmm. Bing Crosby clam bake.
Orange juice?
Dad, aren't all orange juice the same? No, Nathaniel. Much difference in orange juice, just Hope and Crosby.
Heard like 100 times it's still fun.
That was a commercial. They played
I do enjoy it every time.
It's so good.
It's like play the hits. You see Carlin, you want him doing the 7 dirty words. Stop with the racing talk!
Oh.
It's from the big show.
He is right. I am excited for that Brad Pitt F1 movie. They've spent a ton of money on it. Holy mackerel.
Unlike these whiny texters that somehow find time in between their busy schedule of self-pleasuring and crawling up from Nana's basement to reheat yesterday's leftover Easy Mac to complain about their text not getting read on air, I intend to earn my place on these sacred radio waves. Doug, that's from the 617. How about that statement?
Okay, not a bad statement. Not a bad little statement.
This is the worst show in Missouri. That's from the Warren County.
It's not a bad statement either.
That's also both might be accurate. You can email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. This is TMA, presented to you by Brian Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Michael's Flooring has been family and locally owned for over 30 years. Online at igotflorida.com. I've met Michael. I know he takes pride in helping and making sure his employees are happy and make a great living. You go online right now and get 3 samples free from Procter. Listen to Peter Cetera's voice. Oh.
And he left Chicago?
I think so. And I believe when they went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he did not appear with them. So the tension continues 4 decades later.
Well, how could you put him in and not include him? He was the point man, right?
But I don't think he was with them originally. Like in the 70s era of Chicago.
Oh, I thought he was.
Anything pre-1982, though, I can't speak on infallibly. But, yeah, Glory of Love from Karate Kid Part 2 with Uncle Sato. Wow.
Here come the waterworks.
Whoa, pull it together, boy. Pull it together, boy. Pull it together, boy. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, Jeff Passan, with an article on the Cardinals this morning, detailing the focus that has been specifically implemented on the team's defense, and it's clearly worked with regard to the Wilson Contreras charging in on the bunt play, and then he takes a bigger picture look. None of this surprised the Cardinals. Contreras has embodied the team's defense-first mentality adopted last year and actualized this season that flipped the fortunes of a franchise fallen on hard times after decades of unrelenting excellence. And then Passan goes on to talk about what the Cardinals have done to improve their defense and how this defense has played a role in the turnaround. He says, coming into spring training, the Cardinals looked scarcely different. And that's kind of unfortunate because it ignores the Hellman acquisition, but it says it looks scarcely different than the 83 and 79 team that was outscored by 47 runs a season ago. But then talks about how things have changed. Fans could not have known what they would be missing. Not even Cardinal players themselves could have foreseen this group turning into a constant highlight reel of glove work. Early on, we didn't talk about defense, Arenado said. It was, we've got to score runs. We don't score runs, so that's all we were talking about. But then as spring went on, we're like, all right, our defense is actually kind of good. And then as the season's gone on, it's been like, damn, dude, we're really good defensively. That's Nolan Arenado talking about the Cardinal defense in this column that you can read from Jeff Passan at ESPN.com. It is a detailed column on the Cardinal turnaround from Passan, so I would recommend reading it. And then he then pivots to what the Cardinals will be looking at. If the Cardinals spend the next 2 months playing like they have the first 7 weeks, the prospect of them shipping off their best arms diminishes greatly. Because if anyone knows how a team can back into October and find magic, it's the Cardinals, who turned their 83 and 78 regular season in 2006 into their 10th championship and a 90-win wild card campaign into their 11th title 5 years later. I mean, a lot of us are still kind of growing. We've had the luxury of seeing people do it for a long time with the Cardinals and around the league, so I think it's just kind of learning how to come into their own. That's from Brendan Donovan. Marmol has relished the growth. Now in his 4th season as manager, he has amalgamated players around a new identity, a focus and structure, tenets that evoke the Cardinal way, only modernized. Before the Contreras Daredevil game, he invited a number of players into his office to give them concrete data on just how much they'd improved defensively, the sort of feedback modern players particularly appreciate because of the objective nature. Gone are the bad vibes from a 12 and 17 start, replaced by a team that found its footing in series wins against the Mets, Pirates, Nationals, Phillies, and Royals before losing a series of close games against the team with the best record in baseball, the Tigers. Quote, the buy-in's been through the roof, and then when they can see the improvement in numbers however many days in, it just reinforces, do not let up. That's from Ali Marmol in Jeff Passan's column, which you can read at ESPN.com.
It does make a difference. I see the whole team has committed only 17 errors all year. And Donovan, Nootbaar, Walker, Wynn, 0 errors among all of them. When you got a second baseman and a shortstop that have 0 errors a quarter of the way or more through the season, that's darn good. It's unheard of, really.
Min-Woo Lee, Tim, nice play. That's from the 217.
Min-Woo Lee,
stayed on
Tim,
topic for
nice play.
3 minutes.
It's the obvious statement coming after the Mason Wynn error discussion. The fact that he hasn't made one yet. And he's had, 329 chances already?
So the natural next topic would, of course,
Min Woo
be
Lin. Yeah.
Min Woo Lee.
Yeah.
Who probably would be a friend of the program.
You think Min Woo Lee would be a friend of the show?
Yeah. You with me there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. He does a bunch of the YouTube golf stuff.
Okay, I'll click off the Cardinal fielding percentages and try to find what Min Woo Lee. What the hell's his name?
Min Woo Lee.
Lee, okay.
Who do you think the best Cardinal golfer is of the 21st century?
For heaven's sakes.
Nice.
21st century.
How would we know?
Well,
Mark Mulder, right?
Well, Smoltz, but you can't. I think we'd take him out because he wasn't there long enough.
I think the people know about Wainwright and Mulder. I think the sneaker play would be Jason Marquis.
Ooh.
And another sneaker play would be Kyle Loesch.
All pitchers. I guess because the days off makes it easier.
More likely to not worry. They don't have swings to mess with.
That's true.
That's right.
And days off to play.
That's a good play.
We weren't allowed to golf in college when we were on the baseball team. Couldn't touch a golf club.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mess with your swing, I don't think. When you're playing baseball, you're really thinking, let's see, I got to interlock my fingers and I got to make sure my left arm stays. You don't think that.
I bet there's some muscle memory stuff to it that could mess with things.
I do think it's why hockey players are like more naturally good at golf because the swing pattern's the same. Or swinging down on it.
Mr. Mudjack Mike says Ronnie Belliard was a great ball striker.
We don't know this.
You know, I saw him at
now
Riverside.
we're going to make things up.
I caught up to him at Riverside. He was really good.
You didn't?
Yeah.
Both him and Nootbaar make defensive plays tongue out, and I like that.
Loesch is a stick. Guy can move it. That's from the Pope. I've played with the Pope, and he can roll the rock.
I don't doubt all these guys are probably really good players because they're athletes that are just at another level than the weekend warrior. Just at a complete different stratosphere.
Is that a compliment to me?
No.
You answered that really
quick.
Mike, can I come up and meet you?
No.
Can I give you your starting lineup? No.
Can we just talk about the Cardinals for 5 minutes before we have to switch into golf? No one cares. That's from the Warren County Wizard who said this is the worst sports show in Missouri just 12 minutes ago.
He really let us have
Tiki,
it.
are you coming back to football because you miss it, or are you coming back to football because you just had a big failure in broadcasting?
Mike, your question is leading. And, a lot of people will say that you don't do a good job at what you do because you badger your viewers, your listeners. You badger your interviewers.
Tiki, that's ridiculous.
Mike, listen to me.
That's subjective. I have a tremendously successful broadcasting career for a quarter of a century.
Okay.
Good way to start an interview.
You think it went smooth after that?
Give the biggest insult you can to the person you're bringing on.
Oh, God.
Okay, enough about the Cardinals' fielding stats.
Back to Min Woo Lee.
Yeah.
Doug, I had Justin Thomas winning the Masters on the FanDuel spread zone. I don't believe he stuck around for the weekend, if memory serves. I had Min Woo Lee winning the PGA Championship. I'm confident he did not stick around for the weekend.
Okay.
Just wait till my analysis of the Indy 500 coming your way on the FanDuel spread zone.
You'll probably hit that one.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm breaking down the reasons why you got to have a long hitter out there because of the conditions, and Stalter and Riz are like, this guy, get a hobby.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Stalter who picked Bryson, so he got the second place hit, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Bryson finish T2?
Mm-hmm.
Think so, right?
Yeah, because Rahm kind of fell apart there. Any quick outlooks to Oakmont for the U.S. Open?
I'm sure we'll have a spread zone leading into Oakmont. And then Riz and Stalter both hit on Rory for the Masters.
Yeah.
So I sit there, and I do research, and I go with Min Woo Lee.
Min Woo Lee. Okay.
Tim, just pick yourself for every golf major, and you'll be okay. Thanks. That's from the Pope.
That needs to stop.
I am a rec league 50-year-old plus hockey player, and I can't hit a golf ball well, Jackson. Also, I rarely get my weak slap shot off the ice, but I'm out there. That's from Shooter McGavin.
Good on you, Shooter.
What, he wants a medal just because he signed up for a Huff and Puff league?
Playing organized sports post-college, it's fun.
Barely organized.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Sure it is.
Danny Padre both goaltended for the Blues in 2019 and also for that roller hockey league. And wasn't he on your son's team?
He might have been, but he did not goaltend for the Blues.
I like the term Huff and Puff League, though. Pretty funny.
Tim, do you put the yelling in for a text, or does it have to be all caps or underlined? That's from and I can't use this name, and I know it would cost us the FCC license. No, if it is in caps with exclamation points, that's when I will, and it really puts my voice to the test. I'm kind of like Cyndi Lauper. I have to pick my spots.
Okay.
You know, like all through the night gets really high. Time after time's more a little, what is it? What is a lower voice on a lady called? Is it a baritone on a gentleman?
No,
Bass? Alto.
Soprano and alto for women.
I thought there were 3. Nice show prep.
There's a mezzo soprano. I think that'd be like opera singers, maybe.
Let's see. We got soprano, mezzo soprano, and contralto.
Yeah.
Or just alto.
Johnny Peralta.
Correct, and that was spelled with an H in the first name.
Yeah, and he didn't look like a shortstop. He looked like a catcher playing shortstop. But he was pretty good.
Call, really.
I bet Tim knows how to work that putter. That's from John.
Contralto is the low voice.
Why is that dork Jackson attached to Tim like a bad case of herpes in every podcast? That's from Connie Lassiter and Greg Bickle.
You gonna cry?
You're gonna cry is your response.
I only did the spread zone for the NCAA
and yeah,
tournament.
you shipped it. You're the only guy who actually goes in there and makes picks that wins.
Not good enough for Lassiter and Bickle, apparently. Whoever texted that in, I don't know.
Connie Lassiter and Greg Bickle, they had a joint account, kind of like the Facebook account where somebody cheated.
No. Always a landscape profile picture.
All right, email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. It's TMA 101 ESPN.
is Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Cardinals lose yesterday. Off day today. Back in action tomorrow night as the Diamondbacks come to town. 6:15 or 7:15 start tomorrow. That's going to be on Apple TV. Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Cardinals. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
You want to Laney Wilson, Doug? You hear that spot? You've seen her before. You saw her at Busch Stadium, right?
I did, yeah. Oh, I would go again if I could get tickets, sure.
So why don't you?
She's about the biggest thing going in country music right now, right?
How about
Is it Wallen still? I mean, he just had a new album come out. I saw.
Yeah.
He's got a duet with her, doesn't he?
Does he? I don't know. I saw it was like he releases like massive albums, like 35-song albums.
Alan Jackson had the farewell at the ACMs. Emotional. He's got that medical condition. Can't keep his balance.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's like, you want to talk about like coolest MFers ever? You probably wouldn't think of him, but I'd go Alan Jackson to be on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like kind of the real deal. Kind of stays above the nonsense. I don't know. It's kind of where I am on that.
Okay.
Got a great mustache.
Clip that off.
It's your second mustache drop today.
Yeah, I've noticed that, Sherman. What's going on with you on that? Lindy Ruff has a little bit of a mustache now that I'm starting to do some forensics on this guy.
I don't think Seth Goldcamp has a mustache, but he can certainly put some hair above your lip in the heating and cooling department.
Flawless.
Oh, heating and cooling should not be a guessing game. If you're sweating in January or wrapped in a blanket in July, I'm not going to be able to get through it now.
It's just going to be a make good. You might as well pull the ripcord
Time
now.
to call Design Air Heating and Cooling, even if Seth does not have a mustache. They've been in business since 1904, where everyone had a mustache. Means they were fixing furnaces before air conditioning was even a thing. Seth is the guy in charge, mustacheless as he is. He is trustworthy, and he runs a darn tight ship. No gimmicks, no upsells, not going to try to sell you something you don't need. Design Air is the longest-running sponsor on TMA, which basically means they've got HVAC street cred.
He's gone. He's gone.
And the loyalty
Sherman, you better step your game up.
Head to designairservice.com if you can.
If you can.
We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sweating in January.
Sorry, Seth. Some transitions are easy, some not so much.
Oh, my goodness. Jefferson Barracks gigolo accusing Jackson of being into Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck. Is that accurate? Trying to track down this mustache thing.
Burt Reynolds for sure. Like Burt Reynolds' longest yard.
Wow. So you really are attracted to guys with mustaches?
No, not attracted, but you're thinking to yourself, like, if I could be somebody, being Burt Reynolds in Longest Yard wouldn't be half bad.
How about Wilford Brimley?
The GOAT.
Now that I think about it, Marsh seems to walk around with a mustache more often than not.
Wow.
It's not an attractive thing as much as a jealousy thing. Like, I want a mustache. Like, I want that to be my thing. And I just fall flat.
Can you get a mustache transplant? Take hair from somewhere else and put it on your upper lip.
I think the frustrating part is I can grow a mustache. It's just clear. It's white.
Translucent.
Yeah, it sucks. So, and then like my neck hair area, like the bottom of my chin is like a brownish red, like some kind of messed up Dumbledore. It's no good.
Oh my word.
So it's a struggle.
You've been trying for some time now.
Well, I really respect those who can keep a nice mustache.
Clip that off. You got a lot of things to work with here for the drops of the week coming your way tomorrow. But now it's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Once upon a time, in the enchanted forest of AM radio. Is that what it is, an enchanted forest?
It feels like that way. I thought it was a cauldron of some kind.
There was a curious lad named Goldie Jacks. One morning, he stumbled upon a quaint little studio in the woods. Inside, he found 3 bowls of porridge belonging to the legendary hosts, Tim, Martin, and Doug. Goldie Jacks approached the first bowl, Tim's. It was so tiny, you couldn't even fit a spoon in it. This porridge is too small, he exclaimed. Next, he found Martin's bowl, which was so enormous you could take a bath in it. This porridge is too big, he cried. Finally, he came to Doug Vaughn's bowl hole, which was just right. He devoured it and felt perfectly content. Next, Goldie Jacks ventured into the simulator room, where he discovered 3 7-irons. He picked up Tim's, which was so tiny it looked like a toothpick. This 7-iron's too small, he chuckled. Then he tried Martin's, which was so long it could double as a flagpole. This 7-iron's too big, he exclaimed. Finally, he grabbed Doug Vaughn's shaft, which felt just right. Yes. Feeling adventurous, Goldie Jacks wandered into another room.
It's halfway through, Doug.
Halfway?
Oh, Lord.
Edit it!
Chairman, that's not your job, right? You filter. That's your job.
I don't edit. Yeah, I just filter.
Feeling adventurous, Goldie Jacks wandered into another room and found 3 Sibians. Tim looked like a toy, a play school version at best. This Sibian's too small, he laughed. Martin's was enormous, like a bucking bronco at Ballpark Village. Yeah, at that bar, right?
Yeah, PBR.
This Sibian's too big, he gasped, but Doug's Sibian was just right. Goldie Jacks hopped on, had the ride of his life, and promptly fell asleep. When the 3 hosts returned to their studio, they found Goldie Jacks snoozing on the Sibian. Startled, he jumped up, dashed out the door, and disappeared into the forest, leaving the TMA host with quite the story to tell. Then this guy who lingers around the show made an Instagram story about it no one watched. A tale as old as time. So always remember, life's a feast when you find the perfect glow, baby, glow. That's from Father Goose.
Father Goose.
Airball.
With a very long email.
Morning, boys. Great show today. Last night, I was in the mood to wet the whistle a little bit, so I shot up to Dubois Lanes to watch the hockey game and have a few pitchers of Busch and a cheese pretzel. During the second intermission, a sweaty gal sat next to me. While she was packing her pack of smokes, I noticed her wrist brace, so I asked how she was playing. She told me she was carrying her team on her back, and they were in second in the league she was in. She told me she used to be a great bowler back in the day and even had a scholarship to Fontbonne. She told me she was frustrated with her college career because her coach hardly ever entered tournaments. And when he did, she hated going because he would use the food allowance to pay for his hotel porn movie charges and cartons of cigarettes. Small world. That's Grimy from South County.
Grimy from South County.
The Cardinals lost their 6th series of the season to the Tigers. The Stars overcame a 2-goal third-period deficit and scored 5 unanswered versus the Oilers. The Knicks choked away a late 14-point lead to lose in overtime to the Pacers. And what's the media in this town talking about? Some made-up attendance standings that Libby Jack just arbitrarily gave everyone one win without actually tallying up the correct data. And we're supposed to believe remedial math boy who struggles to maintain the email of the day standings is going to keep track of these fake attendance guessing game standings for another 4 months? I'll take the under on that. Ours is a type of presentation where a drunk barge worker who's been up all night feels free to drop in at any time and slur his way through a phone call that sounds remarkably like Tucker's fake dental equipment salesperson character named RJ minus the key bumps. Up next, to set us straight, we got Noah like the Ark who can't turn the FU, pod him down. The sad thing is that actually was one of the better calls you've had in the last month. Pele Blanco's call last week was bad, but in a forgettable, boring old man sort of way. Chairman Steve's call, where he recapped the Hoosier outbreak at St. Louis Country Club, was worse. Guy who called in to passive-aggressively bitch about not having his text read is up there, but no one can touch the older man who was repeatedly called in to invite himself to hang out with the members of the show who are much younger and who he does not know. I'm sure he'll offer to clean Tim's balls one more time before next Thursday. That's from Buck Swope, DBA, the recess lady's breast. And that's what we have for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. What you got?
Today, I believe I'm going to vote for Buck Swope.
I agree. Buck Swope.
Swope is just one. The Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. And this is a guy who can catch Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio. He's good enough to do it. Congratulations to Buck Swope. Time for us to shut it down. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.